as we prepare to have this very French-focused episode 271, that neither one of you brought your French-made outfits for this discussion. So thank you for not doing that.
I mean, hold on.
Mine's in the
back.
dry.
No. Sit down.
Mine's in the dry cleaning. Camping
Okay,
French maid
yeah.
weekend every weekend.
Even the dry cleaner's like, what the heck?
Yeah, he's every weekend. This guy brings this
Every
in.
week?
It's so crazy.
So yeah, we
more
are
stains on it every time.
we are definitely going to talk about some French stuff, including, of course, primarily the absolutely amazing Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So we'll talk about that game some more thoughts on that. Dan, I think, is either at the end or has finished it. We'll find out, okay? Little teaser. We'll find out. Kyle has made a good amount of progress in that game as well. I mean,
I think I'm where Dan
lot.
was.
Yeah, I think Kyle's towards the end as well.
I feel like Dan might have something to maybe say since maybe saying that last, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, I have a couple things to say. I have some notes here. I jotted down some notes.
You did.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So last episode.
Put the top hat back on.
Okay, actually, hold on. Right. No, you know what? No, I'm just gonna do this like this. We're doing this cash. So last episode, you guys started the episode by saying I was dead, aka excommunicado. All right.
We did say that.
Started off.
That's right.
And I just want to let you know that excommunicado actually means an exclusion or banishment of an individual from the Continental Hotel and the Assassin Network, effectively making them an outlaw within the fictitious world of
so you're saying
Jean-Wick.
That's exactly how he meant it. That's
and also, you're not supposed to say this out. You're not supposed to say this publicly. What are you doing?
That's exactly what was our intention was.
This is why you're excommunicado, because you keep doing this kind of stuff.
But this is not real. This is not real.
No, it's real.
Or is it
you
real?
said fictitious.
Tell John Wick it's not real. Tell it to John Wick that it's not real.
Yeah, tell him.
Didn't die and
tell Baba Yaga. Tell Baba Yaga he's not real. And see what happens.
Go ahead.
Dude, I'm not tumbling down.
When he's around for the 8th one, when he's 80 years old, you're going to be sorry, okay?
Yeah, I'm not getting kicked down a flight of like 50 stairs. Like, I'm all set. Like, I'm not doing that. So.
Oh, here's a prediction I want you guys to make. Now we're thinking about aging action stars who we all love their movies. I feel like Keanu Reeves is someone that I would actually love as a person too, but I don't know. It's just what it feels like when you see like pictures of him and whatever. Tom Cruise, not so much, but I love his movies, though. I'll be honest. I love Tom Cruise movies. They're just fun. Like they're not all great, but like most of them are fun watches. So I think about those two guys. They're around the same age, I think. They're both getting up there. They probably have a good decade, maybe a little more of being able to do like real action flicks. Maybe about a decade left. Yeah. Which one do you think is going to be finished first in terms of making action flicks? Yeah.
I don't know. I think Tom Cruise is too vain to stop.
He'll keep going until he'll die on set.
He's also way more of a loose cannon.
I think he'll die
way more of a loose cannon.
I think he'll die on set. I mean, the new stunt in the new Mission Impossible movie, he's hanging off a plane while it's careening through a canyon, and it's real. It's not fake. It's not.
And he's never looked older.
And he's never looked older. He's aged a lot in the last like handful of years. I like how he's wearing turtle. Once they start wearing turtlenecks all the time, you reach the. You can't hide the age of the neck. It's our
his hair's getting all loosey goosey, like he's just kind of like.
No, I see it with the news. You see it with the news anchor ladies, where their faces are all makeup, and they've got the skin's been kind of tightened, but then the neck. Yeah, you're right. That neck, tells the real story.
You can't do anything about it. You started seeing with Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, where he like slowly started wearing turtlenecks, and you're like, hey, he's got turkey.
Yeah, and see, this is why I have this. That way, you guys will always wonder.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Rub it in. That's fine. You guys can just see my saggy neck. My saggy neck.
You got a good 10, 20 more years before you got
that's true.
Gobble neck. So
yeah, you got time. You got time. I can still see the shadow of your jawline, so you got nothing to worry about just yet.
Yeah,
I think you're fine.
That's good.
No, it'll be interesting to see. I actually, if I had to guess, I would say, Tom Cruise, I think, is more stubborn and vain. I think that's true. I think Keanu Reeves is more likely to be like, I think I'm good now. I'm satisfied and I'm finished.
He's kind of already saying it. Like before John Wick 5 got announced, he was like, I don't think my knees can handle it. And they're like, we're making John Wick 5, and he's like, oh, I guess.
Well, I mean,
I think we're almost there.
I was gonna say, even take the newest Matrix movie. Like, I mean, compare the choreography of what he's doing in that movie compared to the other three, and it's like night and day, which was like a big complaint from people,
he's
right?
20 years older, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, cut the guy some slack, people. Jeez.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, whatever. No one cuts anyone slack. It's the internet age. That's not what we do. We don't do that.
No slack.
I don't know what I was thinking. That's my bad.
We can't
That's
have
my
Slack.
fault.
You weren't thinking. You weren't thinking. That's why.
Yeah,
you know what? I'm not going to cut you any slack about this. I'll tell you that.
You guys are correct on all counts. All right, here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to kick things off with a Kahoot game this week. So get your devices ready, whether you have a browser open or a phone, whatever is easiest for you.
I can't.
Now,
wait
I
for
know
Kyle
on
to
this,
cheat.
I know there's just a tad bit of a delay from when I say something or whatever to when you hear it, but you're both hearing it at the same time. So it still will be, since it's the two of you, it'll be fair.
Okay.
If one of you are running the game, then it would not be fair because there is that little delay. But that's okay.
I just want it to be known if Dan wins tonight, it's because I took pity on him because he was sick. That's the only reason.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But if I win, it's because I cheated.
Hey, real
Speaking
quick though,
of the
before we
Matrix,
start this,
apparently
what's the
Kyle is
opposite?
the architect.
He's the architect. What's the opposite of excommunicado? Like
incommunicado. Incommunicado with you.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Intercommunicado.
Write that in your notebook.
Yeah, put it down.
All right.
Jot that down.
Jot that one down. All right. So you're going to go to, I think it's Kahoot.it. Let me bring this up here.
No wonder, because the Kahoot.com looked very weird.
Yeah, Kahoot.com is where you actually go to like make
download stuff.
I got to turn the music off.
Yeah,
that's where you actually create these games and stuff.
Creating an account or whatever. I was like, I don't remember having to do that.
All right, so here's the game. So we go to Kahoot.it 9217007 is your code to join. And I will slightly adjust the. Oh no, I'll leave it. It's fine. So yeah, that's the game to join. Guys, the theme for this Kahoot is games that are made in France. Games in France.
Okay. A lot of bad guesses.
I don't know why I'm doing that. There's our participants. Not French, and Pootie Tang are our two.
It's supposed to be not French, but proud. But I guess that was too.
But now it's just not a French butt.
Not a French butt. Yeah. Also true. Also a true statement. So
yeah, it's not wrong. Yeah. All right, so here's the deal. You're not going to have to select between a bunch of options. You're just going to pick yes or no, but yes or no are both in French. So it's either oui or non for your answers. Okay? So the question for all of these is, was this game developed in France? That's the key part. Okay? I'm not asking if the game is set in France, if the company might have a location in France. I'm asking you, was that game developed in France? And you're going to say yes or no. Okay? The one on the red one, I think the one on your left for the most part will be yes. I tried to make it the same the whole way through, so it wasn't like that way you could just go quickly. So anyway, here we go. We'll jump right in to our quiz about games made in France. Oh, it just went full screen. How do I? Oh, there we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Games from France. Let's begin. And it's a picture, by the way. I don't have to read anything, but I will for our listeners. Was this game developed in France? They're seeing a picture of Baldur's Gate 3. The answer is no. It was not. Do you guys know where it was? No bonus points, just where it was developed.
I don't know. I actually don't know where Larian takes place. Yeah. where is Larian?
Isn't it like Sweden or Switzerland, Sweden, Netherlands, maybe?
Yeah, Larian Studio is in Belgium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there you go.
Cool.
In Belgium. Good job. You guys are on top of it. You understand French. You guys are clearly fluent in French. You got that correct.
Yep. I had to actually remind myself that non was no. So who's the real winner here?
That's true. Well, Pootie Tang is up by 11. So
yeah,
I appreciate that you're moving slowly on purpose for him. That was nice.
I just know he's under the weather. I got to give him a chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he just walked away, so I don't know if we're supposed to keep going. Dan, are we going? All right, here we go. Here goes the next one. All right, was this game developed in France? And for listeners, the picture is of the game Deathloop. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
That was developed in France.
Oui.
Yes, it was. Another game that I have on my kind of backlog Hall of Shame that I never finished. I played a good chunk of it, but I never finished that game. And I've heard that it's just incredible the way that it wraps up.
I did like it, but there's there's a lot going on in that game. Like, it's almost too much.
There's a lot going on in that game.
The web of things.
It's a puzzle game if you really think about it. Like the way that you have to
it's like there's
basically.
shooting in it, but it's not a shooter really. Like you're really trying to solve
really.
really
In fact, I
complex
wish
puzzle.
there were more of a shooter. I'm too stupid for that game, but like I love how unique it is. You'll never.
It's very unique for sure. All right, here's number 3. Was this game developed in France? The game is Detroit Become Human.
Damn it! Is it?
The answer is yes.
All right, well, there we go.
Oh, was it?
Kyle's already ahead.
I know David Cage is French. I didn't know if the studio was in France, but then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, it is. So
correct. Same with like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. All those were made in France.
David Cage.
There you go.
He is French.
Right,
that is our first
downfall.
First lead jump because of Dan getting that one incorrect. Let's see what happens. We got a bunch more. Here we go. Was this game developed in France? Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights. No, it was not made in France.
There you go, Dan.
Dan, what was the giveaway for that one? The title just kind of, there's one element of the way that they word this title. Okay. For me, it's all caps. Ender Lilies is all caps. That's very Japanese. Okay. It's a Japanese game.
Oh, sure. Okay.
They love to do the all caps in there.
Japanese people like to yell their games, you know?
They do.
Verbally wordy people.
All right. That brings us back to even, roughly. We're pretty close here. After 4 questions, here we go. Was this game developed in France? The game is Crusader Kings 3.
I don't know.
No, it was not.
Good guess, though, right?
Good job. Yeah, Crusader Kings 3 was made by Paradox, which is based out of Sweden. So there you go. Which is probably why every time you see that game, it starts right around like the Nordic countries. It's like, what are you guys doing? There's so much cooler stuff happening. Spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Oh, there we go. The lead it's still pretty close. We are within 27 points of each other, nearly at 4,000 points. So it's pretty close. Number 6. Was this developed in France? A Plague Tale: Innocence? Yes, it was.
Ooh.
I knew it was French. I didn't know where it was dev.
Set in France and made in France by, I think it's Asobo is the name of the studio.
So they double Frenched it.
Well, don't say that.
So very French.
Yeah, don't say that.
I don't love that.
Don't do that.
You know what? I didn't care for that. Okay, here we go. Number 7. Was this game developed in France? Assassin's Creed Unity. No, it was not made.
It's Ubisoft, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Ubisoft, but it was made by Ubisoft Montreal. So
that's
that
French.
Doesn't mean
that's French. That's bullshit. No, I'm taking umbrage. That's French.
We have our first Kahoot umbrage being taken.
It might not
go up north and tell them that, Kyle.
But it might as well be.
You go up there and
Get
tell
out of here. Oh, I'm so mad about this. All right, I'm done.
Yeah. Now, I had a feeling that could cause some consternation, and it did. And so that means success on the show so far. Here we go. Number 8. Was this game developed in France? The game is Banishers: Ghost of New Eden.
I don't know.
Okay. Yes, it was.
I don't know.
It was developed.
Dan's got a good geographical.
But you guys both got that one right. You guys both got it right. All right, moving on to number 9. Was this game developed in France? The game is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Take a shot at it.
Yes, was developed in France.
That's hard.
And sadly, that
Ubisoft, like it's it could be France or it couldn't be France. Like that's
right.
They have studios everywhere. Yeah, it's not.
They have studios all over the place, and they're usually really specific about which studio is the primary developers on what thing. Yeah. But yes, and of course that studio has been kind of within their company dispersed to other projects. Sadly.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, number 10. What about this game? It is Dead Cells. The answer is yes. It was.
We were both wrong.
Wow.
In France. Motion Twin is based out of Paris, France.
Oh, okay.
Good for that.
Which I didn't know that until I was putting these questions together.
I didn't know French people were good at making video games until Expedition 33, to be honest. This is all news to me.
as we're looking at all these games, I'm like, these are pretty good. These are pretty good games.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of these are great. Yeah.
was gonna jokingly say Expedition 33 is the first one, but
yeah.
All right, here we go. Number 11. Dan's got a 2-question lead. Let's see if Kyle can catch up here with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Not made in France. No.
Damn.
Kyle, do you know where it was made? Because you played a little bit of it.
I don't. Is it Sweden?
No, it's Czech Republic. So it's
Czech
Eastern Europe.
Republic, of course it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
I have to think about like the devs. Like, how are the devs talking when they're in the dev diary? You know, like are they?
Yeah. It is Warhorse Studios based out of Czech. All right, and if you were to ask me like name one Czech Republic studio, only this year did I learn they were based there. That's the only one I know. Like I don't know if that's like a thing
as well.
Yeah. All right. Within one question of each other at number 12. What about this game? It is Peter Jackson's King Kong. It was.
Good guess.
It was made.
Or maybe you knew. I don't know. Don't let me take that.
Did you know that, Dan?
I don't know anything, or do I know everything?
I don't know.
It's a real.
Apparently, him getting sick has tapped him into the universal Akashic
French
records.
Specifically,
he
though,
knows everything.
Just
French.
It's
specifically
really.
French
I've just been remembering all the French stuff from playing Expedition 33.
Yeah.
He's
been going to every restaurant demanding baguettes. It's getting weird. It's getting a little strange.
He's actually looking at getting dual citizenship. That's what I heard.
Yeah, he is. All right, number 13. What about this game? Was this developed in France? The Saboteur.
Oh, wait. Yes. Okay. Oh, no. Okay.
No, you're right. You got that right.
I like second guessed myself. I was like, wait a minute.
It's a tricky one because it's a French.
It is
a French
in
word.
France. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like it takes place in France, right? Like the game
takes place in France. You got the Eiffel Tower there as well. But Dan, do you know where it was developed? By any chance? What country do you think? If you had to guess.
I'm gonna guess
an American studio. It's an American studio.
USA, baby.
Yeah, USA. We're gonna make a game about liberating France because they couldn't do it themselves. Boom! Got him. Got him. Everybody.
Teach them how to do it. We're gonna teach.
Hey, let's make sure the Saboteur is from the Bronx. Let's make sure he's from the USA.
He's a good old
this
Irish
game was
boy,
made by I think it was Pandemic. I'm pretty sure it was at least.
Oh,
Pandemic. Yeah. That's right.
And they're the ones who did like Mercenaries. Remember Mercenaries? Like there was some
Mercenaries rocked, yeah. But it was a good
peak
studio.
early 2000s games from that studio. All right, moving on here. Dan's got the lead. 3 questions left. Was this developed in France? The game is V Rising. No, it was not developed in France.
I don't know. Where
made by Stunlock Studios. Any guesses on where that might be located?
I'm just gonna say England.
The UK. Was it the UK?
It's in Sweden. Sweden.
Okay.
I already guessed Sweden. I don't want to guess it again.
Hey, you know, it's a pretty good. There's a lot of studios in Sweden. It seems like up in those Nordic countries, there's a lot of those. But it feels like it's a pretty good studio name, Stunlock. I like that. I like that name.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. 2 more questions. What about this game? And it is Life is Strange.
Oh, it is. Yes. God damn it. I hit no, but I hit yes. I knew this one. Yeah.
It is made in France.
Yeah.
Same team that made the Banishers game.
Nod.
Yeah, they made Banishers. They made. I almost.
I forgot. Yeah, Banishers is Don't Nod. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I totally forgot about
that. Vampire, Banishers, Life is Strange. Yeah, it's like they make good games or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah, once in a while.
All right, the game is out of reach for Kyle, but just for like the honor of it all, let's see if he can get this last one. Here we go. Number 16. Was this game made in France? Expedition 33. You said no on purpose.
I did.
You absolutely said no on purpose. You jerk.
I sure did,
done
Tim.
That in solidarity. I've done that in solidarity.
I kind of appreciate that you did that, actually. There is no third place person. What's happening? Move on. Okay, second place.
There is a first place, Tim.
Hey, you know what?
And it's not Kyle.
Second's not bad. You know, second's admirable. I would say.
Hey,
in fact,
as Jerry Seinfeld said, "Hey, of all the losers, you came in first of that group."
That's right. Yeah.
The universe is finally aligned. Everything is normal again. All right. Kyle's reign of terror has ended.
He got excommunicated last week. He was really sick. You know, we had to give him this one. It keeps him alive. You know what I mean? Keeps him coming in.
Yep. Yeah, I agree completely. Well, thank you guys for playing. Thanks for playing our French version of Kahoot.
Thank you, Tim.
Je Kahoot. I don't know how you would say that in French.
Jahoot.
Oui.
Let's actually see if Google Translate will tell us what that is in French. Let's find out real quick.
Yeah, I would like to know that. Let's do
it. Always perfect Google.
Yeah.
All right, especially so we're going to put in Kahoot.
Right? Yeah. I've seen that AI answer give me a completely wrong answer, and I'm just
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Guys, scroll down a little bit if you're looking for answers, you know?
The human
All right, it's saying that the English word Kahoot is translated to the French word Kahoot. So it doesn't help me at all.
We did it, guys. We did it, guys. We did it.
not even a little bit of help.
You just French it up, Tim. You just got to French it up. Kahoot. You know,
Kahoot.
Kahoot.
Some of the other ones I was going to put on there, but I didn't. Just that like feel like could have been made in France. Stuff like The Witcher 3. I just was going to put on there just to see if you had a quick response of clicking it like yes. That's a European game. Boom.
That's Denmark, but you know that. Right?
No, so CDPR is out of Poland.
Yeah, Poland.
Poland. Okay, Poland. Yes.
Poland. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and now they have a bunch
and then some other games that were made in
there.
France that I did not include. Of course, the other Plague Tale game. You've got the Dishonored games were both made by Arcane. Or Dishonored 2 was the first one that Arcane Lion or Leon, however you say that. That's their first one that they did solo. They were a support studio for Arcane, I guess. But Dishonored 2 and Deathloop, they were the primary development team for. And then Valiant Hearts: The Great War, that was a Ubisoft team based out of France. Alone in the Dark, I did not realize that was a French game.
Okay. I didn't either.
Never played it either, to be fair. But Steel Rising was one I left off the list, but that's one that's also French developed.
Yes,
it looks pretty French. You know what I mean? It looks pretty French.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, there you go. That's a little too much French stuff. So let's not talk about a completely French game for the next 45 minutes or whatever. I'm just kidding. Let's do that.
Let's skip it.
There's not a lot of new like kind of headline new games out, but we do have a few. We'll go over those after we talk about kind of our updated reactions and thoughts and impressions on Clair Obscur. And if you have any other thoughts on Oblivion, anything that's come out in the last 2 weeks ish, we can kind of give updated thoughts on. But let's just jump right in to the big one. We got all Frenched up in our minds just now. All right, so let's stay in that mode. And so tell me what you think about your many hours both of you have spent with Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, I have not played really any of it since then because I wrapped up a different game and I'm almost done with the second game, but I will soon play more of it. But I will say I've been dabbling in the music quite a bit, and I've had it on repeat. The tunes in this game are incredible. There he is. There's the top hat.
There he is.
So now that Dan has changed costume appropriately, as he should, as the Dapper Chocobo has arrived, tell me what you guys think. You've both put in a lot of hours. Kyle, we talked a little bit more last week. I know 2 weeks ago we all gave our initial impressions, but you've spent a lot more time with it. Let me know what you think about it. Go ahead.
Dan, please. I spoke last week about it. I want to hear your take on it.
All right. So not Expedition 33. Ha oui oui. Mon ami.
It's gonna be a long segment.
Hey, what's the genre of this game again, Dan? We talked about what's the genre?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Oh yes, my bad. The JRPG Expedition 33. Yes, there it is. Yeah, so this game is fantastic. I love it a lot. Definitely has, issues and stuff because like this is like a AA studio, right? It's definitely not like a AAA studio. This is their first game.
The AA studio.
But I don't think that they're indie because they've definitely they got some good talent and they definitely had like some help like kind of getting it off the ground. Because I think they did outsource some stuff too. So I think
just
they
for
had,
some reference for folks, like the
coming.
team at Ubisoft that made Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is a 7 at best Assassin's Creed experience, 300 people. 300 people made that game. The team that made Clair Obscur Expedition 33, who many are claiming is the best game in decades, definitely of this genre, 50 people. Is that about right? 50 folks made this game?
I know it's kind of fudged a little bit.
Team, right?
Yeah. And it might 30. Be up towards about 80 because they did outsource like some things.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Under 100 is crazy.
Yeah, it's still under
Right,
100,
yes.
even like
Yeah.
with all like the. But yeah, I think the number they
Yeah.
were throwing around was like the number that you were saying.
I
Was
love
like
that,
was
man.
part of the
So
core
that just
team.
for some reference on like what does it mean? Like I think that's a fair way to. I think it's fair to call it a
Well,
double A studio when it comes to resources and number of people
Yeah,
working on it for
yeah.
sure.
The
and I
scale
and
of this compared to what you're saying with like a Ubisoft, that's and again, ex Ubisoft employees, which is crazy because like yeah, they
and it
kind of
might
like
be in.
trumped
I
it
actually
down.
don't know. I mean, it might be indie too because I don't know who would have produced this. Like who, like did someone
Hmm.
produce it? Like what shareholders saw this idea and go, yeah, like this is a real big
Yeah.
swing, and I don't know how many shareholders or producers or whatever would have said yes to something like this. So
Did
it wouldn't
Bandai Namco
surprise me.
publish this game?
Did they?
I'm
Hold
asking,
on. Let
like,
me
did they
see.
I
publish
don't
this
know.
game?
Yeah, I've got no clue. If so, then there you go. Someone put up some money, which is good. I mean,
Let's see.
little project should get
Developed
funded.
obviously
So
Sandfall. What's the wiki? Published Kepler Interactive.
Oh, Kepler.
It's Kepler,
Hmm.
a
I don't know
British
why I
video
thought
game publisher
Bandai.
based in London. What if they? I don't know what they've published.
Never
I'll
heard of Kepler.
So they got
I'll do
someone
some
to
digging.
kind of. They didn't self-publish, so yeah, they
Yeah,
got
but
some.
it's not
They
a
got
big
some help
as
there.
far unless they're like a
That's what I
shell
mean.
company
Like,
of
what does
some major
indie mean?
company.
How do
Yeah,
you define
yeah,
that?
Sure.
Like
right.
if this popped up at the end of the year as like best new indie game or something like that, I wouldn't have
That'd be
many
wild.
questions because I'm just
Yeah,
like, oh, I mean, weird
but
stuff
can we
gets
all
So
agree
funded
that would
every
be
year.
totally unfair? Like that would be pretty
A little
unfair.
bit, yeah. It
A little
should be
bit unfair.
competing with the big boys. It's in the big
so
boy
if
fun.
so
Yeah.
on Kepler's site, as you're scrolling through real quick, there's so that Bionic Bay that just came out, they published that.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. So that was kind of
Okay.
recent.
So they do a combo of
Pacific.
indie and double A quality type games. So Flintlock's kind of another double
Yeah.
A game. Okay.
Yeah. Pacific Drive.
Whatever guy
Conquest.
bridged the deal to pick this game up to distribute it probably got a raise. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
At Kepler, like that, everyone was just patting
Yeah.
that guy on the back big time.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, this game, of course, despite its the little flaws here and there, and it's to me very small. One of them being like there has been, and I think the update recently even already like corrected that. But I would get stuck on some environmental things. I don't know if you Kyle had found yourself getting stuck on actually stuck having to reload a save because my character would not
nothing like
unstuck.
that.
Okay. Yeah. So
haven't seen
I
anything like
actually
that,
came
no.
across that a handful of times, which is like the first time in like a long time in a video game that's happened. I was like, oh, this feels very like kind of old.
Is this
school,
you kind of trying to get to a look? Like, let me see if I can jump up here to get to that spot. Are you trying to find secrets? Is that how you're getting stuck?
No, even just walking over because there'll be like little in a corner somewhere there'll be kind of like debris of like crates, like broken crates or something, and if you like walked over them like the way that they were sort of like stacked or something, like the character would just get stuck on it, which is kind of annoying, but not a big deal.
Yeah,
Just reload the save and
I
I'd
didn't
be good.
experience anything like that. The worst I got was the music would cut out sometimes mid-fight, and every once in a
Oh, okay.
while, and this second one might be more my PS5, the cutscenes would like cut in and out every once in a while. Like it'd cut the like quick, and then come right back in, and then the audio would kind of play catch up. But like a little stutter. But that's nothing like stuck on an environment where you had to load. That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah. That feels very like old school kind of problem, but I mean, yeah, it's good about the auto
and fixable.
saves, so
it sounds very fixed. Those both sound like very fixable issues, which is great.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
And then my only other gripe is more of and this is where I was like, I have thoughts because and it's kind of more end game, so like I don't want to say specifics, but and I don't know where Kyle's at, but so I'm basically, at least as far as I know, I'm like right at the precipice of like the last area. Like it's kind of like, all right, you can go here, but then right now I'm like where I can go anywhere. I'm basically in a position where I can go anywhere, or I can just go right to the end boss. But right prior to that moment where
that's exactly where I am if I think you are where you are, but I have a hard time talking about it specifically without you'd have to ruin the whole game to be like, yeah, this is
right.
But yeah, I think someone can fly now, and we can go everywhere. I've gotten my. Is that right? Is that where you are? Yeah.
Yeah. So you and I, so we're at we're basically at the end, Kyle. We're at the end. So my gripe, and it's just more of a personal thing, but it doesn't minus points from it. It's just more of a personal thing. I think the big like kind of like, oh, here it is, like here's like what's going on is just way too late into the game. Like way too late. Like I would have liked bits and pieces of that information just a little sooner. But then that's again where to me it is kind of a nitpick because it's like, well, how do you go about like rearranging the pieces of that to like still be interesting? Because it is interesting when it happens. It's just kind of jarring because a lot of information gets thrown at you and it's so far into the game.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I feel
that
exactly
mystery of
opposite.
like,
I think it's so perfect
okay,
at this moment. Yeah, I think
okay.
it's so absolutely perfect. And
No,
again,
I think the moment is
it's so
perfect. It's
insane
just a lot
talking
of
around in circles because like it's
I
yeah.
no
know.
one
You
knows
guys
what
can do
we're
a spoiler
talking.
cast at some point
Nobody knows
about
what we're
this.
talking about.
But
Yeah,
it's funny as you guys are saying it, and you're saying it in generalities. I, as someone who's going to play this game in depth here very soon, I've got a couple of other games that I'm finishing, and then I'm going to play it. But it sounds like you're talking about. I immediately thought of Attack on Titan. How there's, oh, this is what's really going on. You have to get through how many
Sure.
seasons before you find out
Yeah.
what the heck is happening?
It's
Like
exactly
three
like
and a
that.
half.
I mean,
It's
that's a
exactly
lot
like
of
that.
that's a lot of shows to fight your way
That's a
through, and then you're
really
like, wait a
good
minute,
point of
wait a minute.
comparison. That's a really good point of comparison without us having to like dive into
Yeah,
it because
it
like
is.
it is so worth. There are multiple moments in this game that I hope the internet doesn't ruin for people, and so
Right,
far I think
right.
the internet's been behaving very well. I haven't seen
Yes.
any
There's a
headlines or anything
classiness
like
to this
that.
game and the people who like it, which is funny. It's all
Yeah,
French. It's all
yeah.
just
Well, even
classy and
even yeah, because yeah, absolutely. But like even like games journalists are not like IGN's not like blah 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 blah. Like, you
oh
can't
my
I can't even
gosh,
allude
yeah,
to things, because they always do stuff like that. So it's just like
yeah.
there are things that I really hope that like people get to evade, and you don't want some handsome dude in a top hat and some garbage looking guy with headphones on ruining it for you. You know what I mean? Like, so
Right. That's why we're trying to be as general as possible, which I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
think that's the polite thing to
You
do.
guys are
So,
being very
Yeah.
polite, and I
but
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
yeah, it's just more, yeah, it's just more of like a nitpick thing, and really in the grand scheme of things, like when you get to that moment, and then there's like kind of like an epilogue that really like kind of like bookends that, and then like you really pretty much fully get it, if not mostly get it, then it's like, oh no, this is awesome. But it's just the lead up to that, because for me, like the thing that intrigued me about this game was like, so like what's the deal with this paintress, and like why
Mhm.
is this happening? Like it's such a simple hook. I saw a headline of some website, but it was like this game does what it does really well because it's like it's a really simple hook that goes really far and like keeps you intrigued because it's like
Yeah.
what is the deal with this like
There
paintress
is
and
a what
everybody
is the deal? Yeah, very
yeah,
Seinfeld.
what
Like
is
there
the
Yeah,
is, yeah,
yes,
what is the deal?
yeah,
The whole time, like what is the deal with the
yeah,
like something else? I mean, like what's the deal
yeah,
with this? There is a lot of that. Yeah.
yes.
I
So it
will
kind of it
say,
just
and
keeps going and going.
I
yeah.
would say to you calling it the word you're using is jarring over and over again. I would say intentionally so because let's say
Yes,
you were
yes,
told this. How jarring would it be for you to learn that this is what's going on in your
right,
life right now?
right,
I think,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So sometimes, things are supposed to feel a little like, whoa, whiplash, and like it's like, and whether or not, how it makes you feel is completely subjective. But I think there's a purposeful nature to like
oh,
making
absolutely,
that reveal the way that it did.
yeah, yeah. I just meant more
Um,
jarring of like the amount of information that happens in that instance, in that chunk of time there, that like kind of hour of time. Like it's like, whoa, like okay, I see what's going on here,
yeah,
and
I have a
it's
feeling when
pretty
you
rad.
on a replay or while pontificating, I bet you there's breadcrumbs there. I bet you there's breadcrumbs
Oh,
there that we're
sure,
not, yeah, that we're probably not like
Mm.
giving it full credit for because like we're on our first time right now, and it's just like we can't perceive the second time quite yet because we don't. You say we have like the whole picture, and I kind of agree with that, but I imagine there's going to be a lot of like weird stuff to come, if you will. So
well,
the game is
it's
just
interesting that
weird
you
all
actually
the way through.
it's interesting that you say that, Kyle, because like so after that like epilogue and then like you're kind of back out there. I went back I went back on the YouTube video to like rewatch the like cutscene that happens before that because there's he's like kind of like reading something and I just wasn't quite getting in the moment because obviously I didn't have the full picture yet. And then when you do, it's like, oh, okay. And then I like went back and like reheard him saying everything. I was like, oh shit, like okay, this makes like more sense now. And it's like, oh, this is like really interesting. This is very cool.
Yeah,
Sure.
I do think that this might be one of those experiences that are just like when you're playing it a second time, like it might even be enriched because of
Yeah.
the full
Yeah.
context of everything. That's just my gut feeling. Who knows? It might just be
Yeah.
redundant when you play it a second time.
Is
Who knows?
is there a new game plus on this, by the way?
There is. I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, I thought they were I thought I
I'm
saw
pretty
people
sure.
talking
Yeah.
about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some. Yeah. I mean, it's. I I can see this being too weird for some people. I can. Like it wouldn't it wouldn't shock me. Even the beginning, like even the whole like as it's going along, you're just like, I don't know, maybe you get like 10 hours in and you're just like, I don't know what's going on. And maybe there's not enough there. I kind of felt, maybe Dan, you can speak on this. I felt that there was just always enough to grab onto that you get that is just right there in the moment to keep you going. And then there's enough intriguing, like, what the heck is this like going on, where it's like
Yeah.
it keeps you moving, like, and
Yeah.
I don't know if Lost is ever the way I would explain how I felt. Like I felt like, oh, I don't know what's going on here.
But Lost, dude,
Again,
they had their hooks in me so good for a good 3 seasons, and I
no,
liked it the
I
rest
meant
of the
like
way. But
not the show.
oh,
I
it
meant
was
like
so.
just I don't feel lost. Like I don't feel
Oh,
Oh, I
lost
thought you
in
meant the
actually being
show.
lost.
Yeah, no, I've
Well,
never
you know,
seen
it's
Lost,
funny
by the
because
way.
as you were describing it, I was thinking of shows like Lost. I was like, you don't really know what's happening, but they introduce a new thing, and you're like, what is this? But I
Yeah,
loved the
yeah.
new things.
So I think there might be a little bit of that there then.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think I just again, but it might just be too weird for some people. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
on
yeah.
your 13th mime boss fight, you're like, I don't know what's going on. Like I don't know.
I
I don't know what people's tolerance is for that.
I
But
am seeing a lot of
I like.
conjecture of like people who are kind of like new to RPGs, or this might even be their first RPG, and it's like, yeah, just a lot of positivity, which is great because like for me
Good.
ultimately, like if this leads to people getting into RPG, and I forget where I said this, if it was to you guys or somewhere else, but I hope companies like Square Enix sees this and like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
reevaluates, because like again, it's perfectly fine if they want to go the action route. I don't like the communications that they've thrown out in the past of like basically almost implying like RPGs are dead. And it's like, guys, like come on. Like
Yeah.
that's your origins. Like don't dismiss RPGs just because you kind of like have a framework. Like yeah, they always are doing different things, but there is a framework to Final Fantasy, I feel like. And it's like it's okay to dive back into the genre and like do different things. Like look what they did with this game. Like make the combat interactive. I think that goes a long way, to be honest. I think people
Right.
find RPGs boring because it's just like I'm hitting attack, I'm hitting magic, I'm hitting item, and people want like tactile. They want to like feel like they're doing something. And I think having interactive combat is like honestly is like will make a huge difference for a lot of people that are just like
Yeah,
I don't want to play RPGs. Like
it's a
I
great
think literally
compromise,
just
isn't
that
it?
was enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree. What was their last
Yeah.
full Square's last full turn-based? Was it 13? Was their last turn-based
Yeah.
yeah,
game?
because I mean, people get into the weeds about like turn-based, like oh, like exactly how turn-based is it, and blah blah blah. But I mean, there was a turn-based game. Yeah, it
It's
was
Yeah.
turn
turn-based.
based. Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
turn-based. And that was their
Yeah.
last mainline one, right? Everything else has been their smaller spin-off studios or indie type efforts. They
yeah,
haven't
like
really done a
Bravely Default
mainline.
and Octopath and stuff
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
that. Like
Yeah.
I mean, which
Yeah.
are
And I
amazing. I'm just saying no major
yes,
game, no
yes,
big
and
game.
I agree with everything that Dan's saying before what I say is a little devil's advocate. Just because this game sold $2 million doesn't guarantee that the next Final Fantasy sells 20 million, which is what it needs to
Oh,
sell to make its money back. So
right.
it's like, are there 20 million, units sold worth of RPG fans out there even after this game? Or turn-based specifically? I don't know. Like just to play
That's a good
devil's
question.
advocate. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how big that pool is now.
That's a
So
really good point.
that is something to think about. Just because this game is selling really well, it's still not selling what Square would need to make on one of their return. Which,
Yeah.
like again, like I forget how much 16 sold, but it was millions, and it was still not enough. So
You know what's
same with
interesting
7
is I
remake.
think if companies like Square are evaluating anything when they see a game like this really be successful, I think it's more about, okay, we're over investing, whether it's
That's what I
staff
think.
or
That's
technology
that's
or
where the
what.
conversation needs to lie.
of course, they're
It's
like,
the budget.
why is our budget so ballooned? Why can't we do what they're doing?
Why do I need to sell 20 million units? Like that,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be the goal, is to sell that many.
Like a company like theirs should be able to have 5 teams, each making their own game at that same level with their own story, settings, genre. Like they should be able to. They shouldn't have to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people all working on the same game. Same with Ubisoft. You know, you can make that argument too. Like maybe with some games, they need that many people. But yeah, it does feel like overkill, doesn't it, to have that many people?
Yeah, I think that's where the real conversation is. You know, is I think they need to really rethink the way that they spend money on their projects, and the way that they spend money. Like, again, we kind of talked about it a couple weeks ago, but like, I don't think I need Final Fantasy to be like, we're the most forward thinking and FMV sequences. You know, like we're gonna be cutting edge technology every time one of our long cutscenes comes on, and I'm just like, I don't know if is that where all the money's going? I don't know if I need that. You know, like you can cut it back a little bit. Just still make it cool. Don't lose cutscenes. You know, but like,
yeah, I agree.
I saw plenty of things in this game that are way cooler than anything I've ever seen in a Final Fantasy game. So,
no, that's definitely the problem, because like for years they've always been like, we want to be like cutting edge, like have the best visuals in the RPG genre. Like that's like a thing that they were always saying.
Cool thing
right?
to chase. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
but if
at
it's
the
putting you in the
expense
hole,
can we just say real quick before you
Right.
make your point about it, because I think you're gonna make a really good point about it. I will say mostly successful. Usually a Final Fantasy game is the coolest looking RPG thing that has come out recently. So
and I
mostly
understand why they
successful
think it's
in
part
that
of their.
pursuit.
I understand why they think it's part of their identity. Like I understand that, you know, it is a working component of their like strategy or whatever.
Right.
It's just
because I know 15 has its haters. I get it, but it was a gorgeous game. 16, of course, beautifully designed and technically impressive. So yeah, I mean, even 13,
no,
I think was
even the
visually
haters
awesome.
when they're watching certain sequences in 15, no one's going, ugh, this looks you know,
exactly.
It's awful.
Exactly.
Yeah, like watch a summon in that game and tell me that you're not having a good time, even though it might be fleeting.
Dude.
You know, like,
yeah, or like the like Monster Hunter looking open worlds where you're going on hunts. You're like, all right, this is
tell me
gorgeous.
You think it's dumb when you get out of your car and just like walk out there and start like killing Stegosauruses.
Beautiful.
You know, like
well, so that's been their thing,
but what you're saying is all like rational, you know, thinking and commentary.
Exactly.
But I think that's part of the problem overall. Is it is a little bit our faults too, because these companies, I mean, what are they ultimately always chasing? Every generation, console generation, or as PCs get stronger, it's the visuals, right? It's always the goddamn visuals. So if we keep, you know, if the people, gamers and so on and so forth, are always trying to be like, oh, but I want to see the pores on my character's face, like then they fixate on dumb little things like, why do I need to see fucking pores on your character? I don't care about the pores on their, like, I don't care. You know, focus on the story, focus on characters, good gameplay, like interesting world, like, you know, yeah, if you can make it pretty and it doesn't break your budget, then that's awesome. But if it does, and then, you know, companies like Square complain because, you know, 5-6 million whatever is not good enough, it's like, well, this is why people are saying the game industry is kind of in a rough shape, because people are getting laid off and creating games is too expensive. But it's like, why is it too expensive? What's going on behind the scenes then? Why is it costing so much money to make these games?
Yeah, is it personnel? Is it technology? Is it both? Is it marketing side of things? Like what?
Mismanagement?
Where's that money
like
going?
You know?
Where is that?
Yeah, how many middle managers do you have on each team? Like, is it overkill? I'm not suggesting layoffs. All I'm saying is there's clearly some weird
restructuring of some sort of the budget at the very least. Yeah, I mean.
Well, yeah, like I was saying. Well, Dan, while you stepped away, I'm not sure if your headphones were still working when I said that, but I was saying like, how cool would it be if Square had teams of a couple hundred at the most each doing their own projects, like doing Clair Obscur Expedition 33 style projects. I don't know, man. I just feel like we'd all get so many more games. They'd be happier on their bottom line, because then it would be like, hey, we only invested this many millions and we made back this many.
Well, I think
so now we're happy.
I think that's the tricky thing, because they kind of have been doing that the last few years. Things like was it Valkyrie Elysium? You know, that came out. You know, Foam Stars, which obviously Foam Stars is not an RPG, but I'm just saying, like, I'm throwing out like they I think they've had teams, these like middling teams that like do
and the
these
Mana
kind of
game,
like
right, from last year.
the Visions of Mana, for example. Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking
which
about
wasn't
the Bravely
them,
Default
but
teams. They're all different teams like that. Yeah,
yeah.
but still, it just doesn't feel like it's enough.
Okay, then what's happening with all this budget for Final
Yeah.
Fantasy then? Like, how many is there? 1,000
Right.
people working on these games? What is it?
I don't actually know. I don't think it's 1,000. I think they're probably. I think they do things a little smaller than like Ubisoft, but it's probably still pretty substantial team. Because I know they have I think it's Business Division as they call their main team, and then there's Business Division 1, 2, and 3. I think are like their main teams, and then after that it kind of goes from there. I don't know the specifics, but yeah, I don't know. I think maybe they've been trying to do that, but like those ideas didn't stick. Like Valkyrie Elysium is like a very middling game. It's like a 6 or a 7 at best. So I think like because they have tried that, but like those games just kind of turned out kind of meh. That maybe they're just like, all right, well, I guess we're not going to do that. I guess you guys don't want these like AA games. It's like, well, no, we do. You're just not, I guess, delivering the right ones. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Octopath Traveler 1 and 2 are amazing. So like maybe just like look at that and do more of that.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
And those were
bottom
critically
line.
and audience and users loved. I don't know if they commercially were
Yeah.
super successful, but I know that the reviews
Well,
were
and I think the
amazing.
studio's gone now. I forget, but like I'll take 10 I Am Setsunas over,
Sure.
like another,
RPG Factory, I think.
Yeah, I forget if they went under or not. I don't. It's hard to keep track of it all these days.
I know
but
their
like,
follow-up just wasn't that good. None of us really liked
it
it
wasn't,
either.
no, but I would take again like a dozen I Am Setsunas over like another Foam Star.
What was that one? Something with
Sure.
Soul. Soul. I forget what that one was. Or something your Oni Soul. I forget what it was. There was something. I didn't like it though.
So Tokyo RPG Factory got disbanded and absorbed back into Square Enix.
Yeah. So that was like Square was kind of funding that, So it's like I wish, and that again, that was kind of your idea, but I wish they would do that more. I wish that there would be a little more, hey, let's give a pocket of money to this little studio over here so they can do another Octopath or an Octopath style game. Those work, Again, I don't really know if they're selling well enough where they make enough money back. Where like this is a good investment, but like. I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. Everything has to be an investment. Nothing is about the art, man. It's all about making a dime.
Right.
So it makes it kind of hard to get unique stuff out there. Which again is why whoever took a jab at like releasing Clair Obscur. This was a big swing. Like I keep saying, like this is imagine pitching this to like EA and EA's like no.
Right.
You want to do a French game about painters? No, it's turn based. Nobody buys those. I feel like there's not probably a lot of people in the market who would have said yes to this game. I don't think, at least.
Right.
And maybe that's different now. Maybe now
when
when someone pitches like a really high concept JRPG style game, maybe people listen because of how successful this is. I don't know. I don't know if this is big enough to change. But
well, people didn't listen with Octopath 2 because Octopath 2, I think, is objectively better than the first one, but like it didn't sell as well, or it's like about to kind of be like on par, like
which is weird because sequels usually sell better. Usually sequels sell better.
Yeah.
Like, usually, I don't know if that's actually true these days. I guess that was more true in like the Xbox 360, PS3 era. But like maybe that's not really as true anymore because again, Final Fantasy Rebirth didn't sell as much, but it was also on less consoles. It wasn't on last gen consoles with a bigger install base and everything. So there's a lot that goes into that these days. Where like there are a lot of factors. Yeah. So I don't want to say that like it's truth. I want to walk that back a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. Again,
it's just one of those things where, and listen, this is not a political statement whatsoever, but it does make you go back to the idea of where are we mismanaging our resources here, and is it worth Square doing like a clean out of some kind? Like, okay, we're spending this much and they're spending that much, and they're putting out higher quality or at least on par. It looks beautiful. It's technically really impressive. It's delivering a great story with good characters, unbelievable voice talent are doing they're doing the things we want to. If I'm Square, I'm going, that's what we want to make.
Yeah.
Why are they able to do it for so much cheaper? And I'm just going to start, probably if I'm in a boardroom, I'm starting to like figure out what can we cut and focus in on? Like, what are we missing? Who do we need to hire?
That's what I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
Who do we need to hire? That might be a good question. Yeah. Who like
French
who do we need
people
to directing this whole thing? Like
we need more French. We just took that quiz.
It's so hard to like look over the fence though and be like, let's look at what other people are doing, because if you try and replicate what Rockstar's doing, like you're never gonna replicate that. Like they spend what it's thought to be $2 billion on
that's harder, right? Because you're
GTA.
looking up. You're looking at like look at what they did in their backyard, and they have millions. Right.
It is hard to play that game where you're looking over the fence and being like, well, look what they're doing over there, because everyone is doing it so differently, you know. But like,
the difference is when you look at someone,
though, for sure.
when you look at someone who is using it's on a budget, and you're like, oh, you did that with your garage? That's a really good idea. I should do that too. What a great money saver. Whatever the thing is, you did that with your. Like that to me makes more sense. That to me you can
cherry pick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me actually cut some corners and save myself a little bit of hassle and struggle. And
there is also then the angle of being too proud, though. Square being the big boy, being like, well, listen, cool that they made that, but like we're Square Enix, right?
That
like,
Japanese traditionalism,
also
that nationalism over there is pretty.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that they might commit seppuku in the? No,
I'm not saying that, but I am saying there are traditions that maybe keep them on a certain track, that maybe bind them.
Sorry, I've been playing too much Assassin's Creed Shadows. Everyone's just trying to honorably.
Hey, sometimes seppuku is the answer, you know. Sometimes
maybe.
Sometimes the only way.
It's interesting. I like when conversations like this happen. Here's an unexpected game from an unknown studio. Not that the workers there have never done good work. We've established that they come from good pedigree, it sounds like, which is amazing. But some of them are brand new. The guy who did the music has never done a score before for anything. He's just a big fan of music scores.
Whoa!
And I was listening to him being interviewed, and he was just kind of like, yeah, no, I used to fall asleep every night to my favorite game soundtracks. I always thought it'd be fun. I always loved to write music and play. And someone heard me on SoundCloud. The director of this game had never directed a game before either, and contacted me on SoundCloud and was like, "Hey, do you want to do music for the game? I've never made a game." He's like, "I've never done a soundtrack." He's like, "Let's do it." That's amazing.
Wow. That's and they both did better than most people are going to do this.
Right. So there's an element of lightning striking to this that we shouldn't necessarily try to diagnose how to recreate that. That's
there might be two lightning in a bottle. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. That being said. The visuals, the story, the characters, and it sounds like the complexity of where the story, like the mysteries to be revealed. They've done a really good job of putting together a complete package. Great gameplay, amazing visuals.
I'll tell you what, you've never seen any. No one's. I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe people are more versed in weirder stuff than me, but like, I've never seen anything like this game before. Like the concepts that it deals with, the visuals that it. Yeah, sure. It's like, that guy looks kind of like Dark Soulsy, or like there's like obviously some like head
there's some
nods
style similarities.
Yeah, but like there are things.
There's Robert Pattinson, who's not Robert Pattinson. I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, who knew that Robert Pattinson just needed Charlie Cox's voice?
I still don't see it.
Yeah, you literally don't see it.
Wow, I mean,
I don't see.
There's articles all over the internet about it. So
no, I know, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I see. I think I maybe like mouth wise down. I kind of see it a little bit, but also the mustache,
the eyebrows.
I kind of just have eyeballs, and I just looked at them, and I'm like, yeah. So that's kind of my stance on it.
I think these you might need a new prescription or something.
I mean, dude. I think it's you again. There's articles written about this, about how weird it looks that he's.
Absolutely. It looks like him. Yeah. Anyway,
Expedition, get new glasses.
I know. I agree with you. Should get some new ones. I agree.
Now, keep in mind, though, Kyle, Dan also thought that Kingdom Hearts 3 looked like a Pixar movie, which it didn't. So
I agree with him on that one.
Dang it.
It's basically literally a Pixar movie. It's basically a Pixar movie.
I mean, it has Pixar characters, but I guess I'd be on that one. It's fine.
Yeah. It's the closest. Real, though, like this. When you look at that, you go, hey, that looks like the thing. In Kingdom Hearts, that's what I mean by that. It looks like a Pixar movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it 1-to-1? No.
No.
Yeah. But is this guy 1-to-1 to Robert Pattinson? Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's not in the vein of. It's not skirting the line of. It just is.
You guys are ridiculous.
I mean, it's one of the top Google searches when you put the game name in Google.
It is.
Robert Pattinson's name comes up right beside it.
This is Dan's binge of the episode. Like, I have to really get my opinion out there about this. So this is what I'm gonna circle the drain on.
You can get as tactical about this as you want, but I'm not having it. I'm not.
Yeah, that's true.
Hang on a second.
But
you're gonna have to.
We haven't even really like. I was gonna say we haven't even really dived into the combat, Kyle, but like the combat is so fun. It's just and I love like the layers of option because like it's so simple because there's not a ton of options, but like literally like either you parry or you can dodge. But like parrying is like way better because you're getting the ability to counter for extra damage, but the window is smaller, so it is more challenging to parry, but like it's just the payoff is better. So even just that one little thing is like really cool because it's giving you it's like, oh, I can get better at parrying, but hey, if I do suck at it, I can always dodge, you know.
Yeah,
Like it's just
man, I got a lot to say about the combat system. I feel like it's one of those things where like when you start the game, you're like, this is gonna be hard. And by the end of the
sure,
game, I'm like not getting hit by anything. Like I
right.
am so good at it. And
I
it was
rarely
something
dodge.
it's something that I didn't think I'd be good at, like on this
Mm,
level, where I, it just, you really start to lock into like the sound cues and stuff like that. And like,
mm-hmm,
then it
mm-hmm.
becomes less of a visual thing, even though there are visual cues as well. But we've talked about this before. There's a
Yes.
lot of fake outs. There's a lot of like, I'm going to
Yep.
interrupt the pattern. It feels like you're on a pattern where you're like, bop, 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 but then like it'll do a
Right.
pregnant pause. But like
Yep.
now,
Yep.
I can almost like fight with my eyes closed, because like there
Mm,
is a huge sound design in this game that like alludes to what you need to be doing. And of course,
yeah.
there's all like the yellow flash for jump, and everything slows down to do one of those like really big parries.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
But
group
like
parries or whatever those are.
yeah, but there's like a powerful. I don't know if you got. It's a little further in the game, but like there's a
Yeah,
different.
there's
There's a
like an
new
extra
type of
one.
parry where
Oh, okay, okay.
where like when the world slows down or like the character that's attacking you slows down, to hit like R2 or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
And
Okay.
it's just, but again, like you just know what everything means, and I feel like the game
Yeah.
does a really good job of like putting a lot of information into you, and like it is up to you to get good at it, because it did take me a while to like get used to like the rhythm, and like that's kind of what it ends up being. And
Yeah.
that's why I see all the Sekiro parallels where it's like, oh, it's kind of like a
Yeah.
rhythm
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
like I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. I see that more
Yeah.
here than I ever did in Sekiro. I still don't understand that game eludes me
Yeah.
in every way.
Yeah.
It's so hard, it's so brilliant, and I want to play it so bad. But it's so hard.
I mean, even I beat it, and I'm like, rhythm game? What? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but like you
But
actually, it does feel like a rhythm game here. And there is a flow that you get into when you're fighting, and again, like it's I know that there are some people who have tried it and they're like, I just don't like turn-based stuff, and like, great, whatever. Like, I
sure.
don't know what to tell you about
Sure.
that, but like this is
Yeah.
this is a good compromise, I think we've said in the past, of like
Yeah.
bridging the gap between like having to pay attention to like bosses that we've gotten to so used to in this like Dark Souls era of video gaming and stuff like that. And I know we could like go back to like character action games, like, oh, Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, they all have like these kind of like boss tells, if you will, to so
Mm-hmm.
when to deflect or guard or whatever. But like I feel like this takes a lot of those lessons, installs it into a genre that it's never been in before, enhances
Mm.
stuff that's already been there. Like we said, this might be the better version of like your Super Mario RPGs and stuff like that. It just takes the concept
Yep. Yep.
further, like a few steps further, not
Yeah.
even just one step.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. I feel like this
Yeah.
is the natural progression. If Persona like kind of sped things up and made everything stylized and did all these really cool things to kind of like move things along, this took that torch and continued it and added way
Yeah.
more to that and everything like that. And just to say all the stuff that I said about Metaphor last year, because I feel like a crazy person, where last year I'm like, guys, play Metaphor, it's the best music I've played, it's the best RPG I've played, it's best. I'm literally doing the same thing this year. I'm like, God, I'm playing the best RPG I've ever played. It's got
Yeah.
music, it's got visuals, and they're like, I
Yeah.
just heard you say this, so this game's been a hard sell for me for some people, because people are hearing me, kind of recount a lot of things I said about Metaphor last
Sure.
year, but I'm saying it here with this game, and mean it just as much, if not more. I mean, I feel like this game is really, really, really taking the genre into a really fresh territory, and
Yeah.
I just hope that like we get to see like the natural evolution of this from the studio or somebody else. I don't know what the future looks like.
But also a great homage to old stuff, because like I said, even leading up to the game, like when they unveiled like an overworld map, I was like, overworld map,
Yeah,
what? Like I freaked out,
yeah.
dude, because I
It
love overworld maps. Like,
and I don't know how it's something feels so old and so new without having like an identity problem, and it just
yeah.
doesn't. I feel
Yeah.
like it's a very confident in the way that it's presenting itself from the combat to its unique visuals, just everything. So
it is very confident. That's a good way to put it. That's part of what makes it so easy to like. It's like, oh, you're confident? I'm just going to follow you then. Take me there. Take me to this weird story in this weird place.
Absolutely. But even the dev, like the way that they're acting so confident, where it's like they came out of nowhere and we're just like, hey, we're glad that Oblivion released the same week that we did. It boosted us, you know, like there's just this like aura of like French confidence around this video game that just is really crazy. And like he's saying all the right stuff, you know, like the guy, whoever's the guy who's talking directly to the press, like, and the way that like they're celebrating, you know, like their wins and we hit this milestone, we never thought we were gonna hit this milestone. I just feel like there's just this aura around this game that's super positive. And again, like I just haven't seen a lot of negativity about this game, unless it's just you know, forced and weird. But like I haven't really even seen.
Well, there must have been
either.
some nerves and you know, because with how the game industry has been the last couple of years.
Yes,
like, there probably was in the back of their head, like, oh, like, you know, we know
this
we
game,
have something.
I
really
cannot
cool
emphasize how weird this game is. This is not a E for everyone game. You know what I mean? Like it is weird. Like, and again, I just don't think that they were making a game with millions of copies in mind. I don't think they ever thought they were going to sell this many. I just
the prologue has, you know, mass deaths, and then the first part of the next section has a decapitation and a lot of other violent death. Like it happens fast, and it's like, all right, we're doing this.
Well, there's a melancholy nature to this game that like is so entrapping, and then you get these like really wonderful moments of levity that are like so needed to just survive like in this mood. So like whereas like Last of Us is like constantly oppressive, you know, and like but every once in a while like Ellie will like slow down and play a song for her girlfriend or whatever, you know, like this has a lot more songs for their girlfriends, if you will, but it leans a little more goofy rather than like romantic or like gooey. Sometimes it's gooey, you know, but like there's just a lot of fun comedy and levity and stuff like that while never sacrificing like the tone at all. And I want to talk.
I mean, that's true. That's true of other stuff with French stuff too. Like I remember watching the movie The Patriot. The only jokes in that movie were from the one French guy who helped out Mel Gibson. You know what I mean? Like those. That's
true.
Funny
Yeah. In fact, I actually base all of my French knowledge around The Patriot. So I'm right there with you.
Hey, same with Hamilton. Like the funniest guy was the one from France. Like that's and the British king. Yeah. So people from Europe are the funny ones.
Yeah, people from Europe are with their silly little accents.
You're welcome.
No, there's a really specific part in the game, and I it's not a spoiler. It's just kind of a general area with like kind of a general boss that you're fighting. And Dan, maybe you'll feel similarly, or at least go, yep, or no, I don't know. But that when you're going after like the songstress, you know, and there's this whole area that you're in where she's like singing the entire time, and it is beautiful and captivating. But like she's a siren, so like you're kind of like your characters are kind of fighting being mind controlled a little bit. But like there's this beautiful moment where the song is so wonderful that like, and this is just me, I'm not imposing my philosophy on anybody else, that like you start humming along to the song and you realize like, oh, I'm captivated. Like they got me. Like I'm trapped in the moment.
I would not survive this world.
No, absolutely not. And it's just like that whole moment in the game is just like there's nothing like dire or spooky. You're not even in an area that's like, oh my god, this is so like
it's very bright.
It's beautiful and opulent, and like it's just like it's unlike any other area in the game. And there's just like this, it's just so different than everything else that you experienced so far. And again, like I thought there was this brilliance to it that like the music that's playing, what's that, is it diegetics, what's that, like where the music that you're hearing in the piece of art is also what the characters are hearing in the art, if that makes sense.
I've never heard that word before. That's cool.
I think that's the right word. I might be tripping up on that, but like that's what's going on here, is that like you're hearing the music, they're hearing the music, like the music means something, you're having a reaction to it, they're having a reaction to it, you are sharing in this moment with this, and it's one of the most brilliant pieces of video games ever, in my opinion. That specific moment, like it'll be something that like haunts me in my twilight years when I'm thinking about all the video games I played as I'm dying slowly. So
honestly though, Kyle, beautiful. That siren part, like and you talking about humming, I've been the whole game to me is like a siren because like I've been humming to multiple songs like because it's just man
there's a
the
lot of cool stuff.
soundtrack
Man,
unbelievable.
I like how just the music changes constantly. I mean, like there's everywhere has a theme. Every battle theme changes. It's just like there's so much. Like I have almost nothing but good things to say about this game. Almost to a point where I have to catch myself and go, don't hype this up for people too much. You know, like let them
take it
just
easy.
find it on their own.
Hey,
you know,
listen,
I
it
just
is what it is. It's good.
It's
Dude,
really
I am
good.
trying
It's
to not like stop myself from doing that this year because there's probably been 3 games this year that I'm like, everyone stop. This game is amazing. I have to tell you about it. So I have zero ill will towards that, and it makes me excited to play it. It really
no
does.
breaks, all love.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, no
break.
That's right. Just
hey, before we talk about a
yourself
few
into the
other
known
things,
cone.
I just have to show Dan especially this. Kyle, I know you don't need this at all. This is just for Dan.
I'm sorry. I don't see it.
What are you
At
talking
this point,
about?
I don't know. I just don't know if he's being stubborn or if he at this point or not.
No, I legit.
Hold
on, go back to that second one. Go back to that second one. All right, so Gustav's eyes are more round there, right? And then his eyes are more, eye shaped. They're a little less round. Like it's really, I think it's just the mustache.
Man.
You guys are all looking at the mustache.
The whole world, yes, you're right. The whole world is looking at the mustache, and you're right. You're right,
dude.
Yeah. Whatever,
Dude, I am blown away because he looks like he legitimately motion captured for this character. Like that's what it looks like to me. Like it doesn't look like it could be anything else.
Literally everybody agrees with that, Tim.
Awesome. Okay. Literally, hey, listen, all 2 million of them, huh?
Yeah, all
that's
2 million people. That's absolutely. Right. Literally, Google it,
I cannot wait to play more of this. I'm very, very excited to get into it and to really dig into the story. Especially, I talked with Kyle last week a little bit about how this is one of those ones where I'm not gonna hesitate to switch it to easy just so I can enjoy the pairing if I need to. But if I can get the timing down, then we'll see. I'm gonna give it a whirl.
The timing. The timing might be a little bigger in easy mode, but like I switch it down to easy a couple times, and like you still need to be on the ball in that mode. Like it is not a governor to just get through the game. So yeah, I mean, I would absolutely liberally use the easy mode if you need to.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
And I thought that the length was kind of a deterrent. Everyone was like, this is like a 60-hour game. It's not. You could put 60 hours in this game. Absolutely. Right. I'm sure there's a lot of enough end game there. And what I mean by end game, I mean like not post credits like stuff. I mean like stuff that you do like right before you fight the final boss or whatever. But like I'm probably gonna wrap this up at around the 30-hour mark, and I was
gonna say the main story average on how long to beat is 26 hours, and then if you do some extra, it's 38. So that's the
reviews.
Average.
All reviews were saying, and I've used I know how long to beat. Like it's totally right. Reviews were really pushing this like it's a 50 to 60 hour game in their reviews, and
they say completionist
if you're out there
is 60.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why all the reviews out there kind of agreed that was the length of the game, but like if that was like keeping people from like playing it, it's not that long. You could make it that long, but like it just isn't. So
it's funny. Right beside it is Baldur's Gate 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2. Baldur's Gate 3 is 173 for completionist, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is 188 for complete. Like
that's it.
That's it. That's all.
I'm shocked that Red Dead Redemption is longer than Baldur's Gate, to be honest.
I just think it's a bigger area to like if you do every animal or what, like hunt every animal, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, there's so much in that game, right? So much.
Yeah, there's so much to do. Anyway, well, dude, I am so excited to really give this one my attention. I'm kind of glad that I decided not to try to balance it while wrapping up Shadows and while I'm also finishing up another game. If there's anything else that's new the last week or two, we can talk about it. Otherwise, we'll just jump into our sizzle reel of other new stuff this week. Is there anything else newish that you guys want to give updated thoughts on? And then we'll at the end we can do our quick hits of everything else we're playing.
There was. I'm not aware of it.
I've just been playing Oblivion still, but I've talked enough about that. It's good. It's a good remake.
There's some news about Oblivion. We'll talk about that in the headlines too.
I picked up all of the side quests and like went through all the side. I like watched a bunch of videos on like what the best side quests were. I picked those all up. Did all those. I really just
Oblivion says 77 hours for completionist. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I'm at 44 right now. Yeah, I mean that's
Really, only
77
77?
sounds. Well, I don't know. I mean, like if you did every single like dungeon, like it's like 200 hours. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah, I
to
was
get
gonna
like
say.
every like trophy or whatever, maybe that's only like 77 or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know, but yeah, I just know that like I mean, that game's got a lot of content to it, so I don't know. I'm not going to get to it all. It's
There's
really
a
good,
lot
though.
there.
I'm really enjoying it. That game is still broken. So every single bug and problem that existed in the original Oblivion is absolutely here. It's just a little
Yeah.
And we
prettier, so it
love
makes it
that.
easier to manage. So,
Yeah.
We love it
I
and
for you.
think
there's
people would have
talk
been
about some
mad if it wasn't that way, don't you think? Wouldn't
yeah,
people be
yeah, but these
mad?
are like the dumb bugs too, you know, like when Dan was talking about oh, I had to like actually load my game to get back like an
Sure.
expedition. This game is filled with that. So and not just environmental stuff, sometimes just stupid stuff. So
Mm.
but yeah, plenty of character you know, like stuff too where all the physics just kind of make everything wonky and you know, characters, you know, being weird and stuff like that. You know, all the fun stuff's there too. But like again, like
Oh yeah.
that's you know what you're getting with a Bethesda game, and like they didn't,
True.
you know, it is what it is. It's very good. No one seems to care. So selling a lot and playing a lot. So
No one seems to care.
It's true.
It's true.
no.
There seems every time I hear
Starfield
that,
came
whether it's
out with
from you
almost no problems, and we hated that game. This
and we
game
hated it.
is
That's right.
a mess.
That's because of Microsoft's
It is
purchase. We talked about
it is
this. It's all because
riding
of Microsoft.
on nostalgia alone, you know, and it's a
Yeah.
damn good. It is a damn good remaster.
I've only
I
heard
mean, just
people
like
say it with like smiles on their faces. Like all the bugs are still there. They love that
and I
that's the case.
hey, I'm smiling. So I'm
I
44
know.
hours
I
into that
know.
game. I'm, you know, it is a good. And I maybe there was one moment where I lost like 4 hours of progress because of some stupid thing.
Ooh.
So that was like the biggest like setback I had. It was kind of my fault too. So and that's
Yeah.
kind of what these games do to you. You start like blaming yourself. You're like, well, I shouldn't have walked through that door while I was saving. Like that was on me. You know, like it was too much for that game, and I know that.
That's
I know
on
you
me.
save and just like plant for a second. Don't just
I
like
know I need to give it
have
a
the
chance to catch
game
its breath before I
yeah,
do something else.
yeah. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need to
yeah.
like force a hitch, you know, to like break the
Oh my
game. You know,
gosh.
like that was on me. So I kind of feel like a battered girlfriend a little bit, where I'm just like, well, I
Sure.
was, you know, it wasn't his fault. You know, I do. There is kind of
You got a
an
little
abusive
Stockholm
relationship.
syndrome with
A
Bethesda
little
bugs,
bit,
don't you?
yeah, a
A
little
little bit.
bit, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am a
yeah.
You're
giant
just used to
Bethesda
it.
apologist, so you know, like I am shocked that like I feel like I'm saying there's more problems with this game than I hear most people are saying, and
Yeah.
I'm the guy who's like, I don't care.
I'm
Bring
actually
on
not
the
hearing it a
Bethesda
ton, but when I do, it's people laughing about like, oh yeah, this thing with the guard is still there or whatever, like all the funny
yeah,
stuff. By the
yeah.
way, I heard there's a side quest where you show up to this town and it's empty, but it's because everyone's turned invisible. Is that true? Is that really a quest?
It is a quest, and they're invisible because a mage turned them invisible, and that's how you get your
That is
first.
hilarious.
That's how
That
you get like your
is
first like if you want to your first like store like legit storage box that you own. After you complete
Wow.
that quest, they're like,
just
hey,
the
we'll give
idea
you
of that. This
we'll
mage
give you a
just got mad
permanent
and turned
pin.
everyone invisible. That's so
It's
funny.
not even got mad. He just was like kind of messing around in his mage tower and like accidentally put off a spell, and it just kind of like
It's like
it
Monty
affected him
Python,
and
man.
everybody around
That
him.
is
Yeah,
so
a little
funny.
bit. Yeah, and you have to go there and kind of convince him. You're like, hey, they don't like being invisible. He's like, what's there not to like? What do you mean? Like he doesn't
What
understand
is
like why
there
they're
not to
mad. You
like?
know.
What are they,
It's
crazy?
a good mission. This game, like people remember this. I'm like acting like I'm saying something revolutionary or whatever. Like, this game is hilarious. Like it is goofy and weird. Like it's
Mhm.
goofy, like Fallout's goofy. You know, like whereas
Yeah. That's what I've
Skyrim kind of
heard.
like Skyrim kind of matures. Not mature. That's not the right word. It kind of straight faces itself a little bit.
Yeah.
Oblivion's like full blown goofy, and like yeah, I know we talk about like arrow to the knee. You're finally awake in Skyrim. Like but like there's an inherently goofy nature to Oblivion
But that wasn't
like
Skyrim
there's
being goofy. That's the meme culture that took off with those
that's the
things.
meme culture,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just yeah, exactly. I don't know. Dan, I know you're a big fan of these Bethesda games, and I know you're probably gonna get into it at some point, but I'll be very interested to hear after you sink some like real big time into it, like kind of like how it's landing for you. It's landing in a really I know it's 90% nostalgia, but like it's landing for me in a place where I'm just like I love that I'm getting to talk about this game with everybody. I love that everybody that I know is playing it right now. Like I love that we're reliving 2009 or whatever. I just love that like we're all back there, enjoying this game or whenever that game came out in 2009, 2004, 2005, 2006. I don't know.
Yeah, it was earlier than that because
2006, I think. Yeah, because
I think
it's
it
a
was
20-year
06.
anniversary.
it was 11.
Yeah, it's a 20-year anniversary. Yeah,
because wasn't it within the first year of the 360 when it came?
It was within the first year. Yeah, or a little after a
360
year or
was
something
05.
like that. But yeah, it's a good time. We don't have to spend too much time on it. It's great. Tim, if you ever get more into it, like it's weird. It's a weird good time. So
it actually legitimately sounds like a really fun experience, and I do want to experience some of it because I had a blast with Starfield. That was the first Bethesda game that I spent significant time with, and certainly the first one I think I ever completed. I don't think I've ever completed a Bethesda game before that. Like actually,
you speak the language now. I think.
And I did the DLC. Guys, Starfield games. I'm sorry, I don't know what. I don't know what to tell you. It's great.
I feel pretty confident, and like now that you speak the language of Bethesda, like you're like I get it now. I get what these games are kind of like. What they want out of me, and that there's going to be moments where I have
Bethesda
to be pencils
Matrix
on me or whatever.
Yeah,
You're seeing the code now.
I mean, sure, when the characters talk to you and they have just this dead look behind their eyes, you get used to that after a little while. Like I get it.
Yeah, hey, it looks better than it used to, so at least there's that.
It's just like real life.
Not the same amount of expressionlessness, but it just looks
right. Agreed. All right, well, let's talk about some other stuff that is new this week. We have a nice throwback to like PS2 action days. Here, let me turn the sound off. There we go. This game is called Captain Blood. It's called Captain Blood. Yeah.
What? Yeah. This is getting wish list. What the heck?
Yeah, so they said that it was actually a game in the early 2000s that was canceled, and they brought it back.
Oh, wow.
They finished it, and so now it's got this. It looks like a remastered PS2 game if you look at it. Like it's got really clear textures.
This was already wish listed, so I somehow found this game at some point. Yeah.
I know we've talked about this kind of recently.
It looks so fun. Yeah, it looks great, man. I'm all in for stuff like this.
I'm buying this.
Plus, it's called Captain Blood. That's so great.
That's why I'm buying it.
Yeah.
It actually gives me God of War vibes.
It does, yeah. It is of
like
that era, 2003.
There's like a motion to it that reminds me of God of War,
Well, there's a lot of like God of War, like we're on a ship and there's like little circles where like things are about to hit. It literally is God of War.
I like how coins pop out of the enemies as you beat them.
That is God of War. Look at that. This is a God of War clone.
This is God of War.
Oh, you are so getting purchased.
Take my money.
Gracious. I'll see you in the Game of the Year award talks at the end of the year.
This looks like so much fun.
Guys, Captain Blood,
Like when I think of teenage or college age Tim playing a summer game, this is the kind of thing I picture. Like a game in the summer where like
this is me
in addition to like the bigger, deeper RPGs, but this is the kind of thing. Yeah.
This is the kind of thing I'm like screaming at my friends about. You guys are not playing Captain Blood, and my friends who only play Madden are like, no, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, guys, Captain Blood.
So there's that one. There's this other one. It is a VR game, but you can play it without VR. You can do standard view, which is smart for games to do that these days. It's called The Midnight Walk. Have you seen reviews for this one that have popped up?
Yeah.
Well, I remember this was when I first saw it. I was like, this is a Tim Burton game.
Yeah, it's very Tim Burton-esque. It looks just like one of his movies. I don't think he was involved in this, was he? Was Tim Burton involved?
No. He wasn't.
Okay. But it looks like that, with the stop motion and the like nightmarish puppety looking creatures. It looks real terrifying, but some people even describe it as a cozy horror game because of the way that you play it. And I don't know exactly what that means. I imagine if you play it, you'll understand what they mean. Because it is, I think, more of a adventure game. I don't think there's a lot of action, maybe some running, but anyway. I don't think you're fighting things though, really.
There is a weapon that I at some point that looks like almost like a cannon. It'll probably show it in this trailer that you fire, like you actually fire it at an enemy. But
how cool does that look though, man? I want to play it just for the visuals of it alone. The problem that I have with it is that like a game like this, I don't necessarily want to invest a lot of money and let alone a lot of time. I just want to try it, and it is like $40, I think, full price. Which I'm not saying that's a bad price. I'm just not going to spend that on this right now. So, there is a cannon. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like maybe it's segmented. Like there's just at different points in the game you're using different tools.
Oh, the tools. Yeah. So I will totally wait on this. But when they're
40 hours.
Oh, that's short. Okay.
Yeah.
But there you go. It is out. It's got great reviews. People love the Midnight Walk, and figured that was worth highlighting this week because it's one of those surprise games too. That's just reviewing. I think the reviews on it are crazy. like a lot of 8s and 9s on this one. So,
oh, nice.
So yeah, pretty good reviews there. All right, we got a sequel to the Savage Planet game. This one's called Revenge of the Savage Planet. I never really played the first one. I think it was on Game Pass. But I never tried the Journey game. Yeah, it looks
a
like
lot of space games
silly.
all came out around the same time, and I missed almost all of them.
Like it looks like good, silly multiplayer fun. It looks like it's very tongue-in-cheek humor.
Yeah, I know it's co-op. I know it's fun to play with a friend or whatever. But yeah, I don't know much about this one, but it looks pretty goofy.
I like the way it looks.
I do too.
It looks cool.
This whole Groundhog Day trailer is kind of funny though too. Dave the Diver.
Dave the Day. Oh my god.
Gosh.
Dave.
Wow.
Dude, 3D Dave.
That was a high fidelity 3D Dave the Diver. I'm in. I'm back in.
Wild. Yeah.
They got me.
Yeah.
They got me.
So that is out. If you guys want to give that one a try, especially the co-op stuff, looks like it could be a lot of fun if you've got some friends to play with. I want to do some wild exploration together. Entertain yourselves to death. All right. Next one. Spirit of the North 2. The first one, I remember watching one of my kids play it for a little bit, where you're this fox. It's kind of like, I think it's like an adventure, 3D platformer adventure game. This looks really pretty though, the second one. So I just don't know much about it. I don't know the lore, the story. I just remember seeing them play it. Looked like a platformer to me, like a 3D platformer.
Yeah, but this always looked like one. I was like, oh, I like the way this looks. I want to try it, but I never did play the first one.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Let me see if they have actual gameplay, because this looks all cutscene-y. Oh, I can't tell. That might be? No, it looks cutscene-y too. There you go. That looks gameplay. There you go.
I think that was gameplay, but like from different angles.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Anyway, this one looks cool. Spirit of the North 2 is officially out. So you give that one a look if that catches your fancy. Then we have this game called Spirit Fall.
Super into this game.
Okay, so it's been on PC it's on PC for a bit, and now it's on consoles.
Yeah.
It just looks cool.
It looks very cool, yeah.
Yeah, I like the style. I like this really fast, frenetic side-scroller action. So I'm curious how the roguelike upgrades work. Like sometimes those things really sour me on a game quickly, but sometimes they're great, and I love it. So it just depends. So I'll have to wait and see.
I love this art style so much. It's so cool.
The art style is really cool in Spirit Fall. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's already been on PC for about a year, and now it is hitting everything. So it's on all the other platforms. So there you go. Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. All right, let's keep moving here. Another one with the word fall in it, Darfall. This is a RTS game from Paradox, the folks who made Crusader Kings 3. I think it's an RTS strategy game. Yeah.
So Derek is playing all of these, obviously, right?
Anything with fall, he has to play. It's in his life contract. He has to.
If there's anything I know about Derek is that he only plays RTS games. That's the one thing.
He loves a good RTS.
He only falls for games.
He loves a good simulator and city builder. You know what he loves even more than that is he loves when I talk about him. That's what he loves the most.
It's true. Yeah. He loves watching all cutscenes and not skipping them.
For sure.
We can talk all the things that Derek loves.
For sure. So this is the kind of game that will appeal to me at a certain phase. I'll hit a moment where I'm kind of into something like this, something a little more strategic and RTS-y and city buildy. Sometimes not. It just really depends. But I do like these from time to time.
What's a DAR?
I don't know, but it fell. So
okay.
Oh
yeah. All right. Good talk.
Mm-hmm. Here's something super cozy looking called Dolok Town. I like the art style. It's a side-scrolling, I think they called it a farming adventure type thing.
I was gonna say I already like the way it looks.
Yeah, it's got a cool style to it. But I remember seeing it looked like there was like a structure that you build, and you can kind of like multiple levels. At least that's what I thought. Because it starts with a tent, obviously you can see. And then you start crafting and upgrading things.
It builds like Ready Player One, like stacks of trailers on top of each other.
I pictured like that Spiritfarer game a little bit as you're like upgrading your boat and stacking things on. It looks like you can lots of upgrades you can see here. So yeah, this one looks pretty cool. Dolok Town. Yeah, see, you're creating all kinds of different machines, farming. It looks really cute. Oh, look how crazy this gets.
Whoa. Yeah, I like the pixel art. That looks really nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Doloc. It's DOLOC town. Doloc town. Not sure how to say it. All right, last one. Here we go.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Another simulator game that I needed you guys to know about, called Cash Cleaner Simulator.
Oh man, it's like a money laundering. This will go really good with This will go really good with my drug dealer game I just bought. So,
but I'm pretty sure that you actually literally washed the money too. It looked like he was using a washing machine at one point.
Wait, when you launder money, you don't actually wash it?
Look, I saw a washing machine. So I don't.
Okay. Oh, and then you put it into one of those booths where you're trying to catch all the money. You're trying to catch the money. I don't know.
Only 90s kids knows what that is.
Yeah, like the tornado booths.
There's a bunch of like Gen Zers out there like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This is so silly. What a dumb thing. But anyway,
that like exists. What is? Yeah, it sure does. It sure does, Tim.
Cash Cleaner Simulator.
Anytime something says simulator at the end of the game, I am giving it a second look. Anytime.
I'm gonna take a look. I
always buy these games. I am gonna peek for sure.
I love take a little peek.
Love a good chore. No, I'm not. I'm part of the solution. We need more small games without doing chores. I'll tell you that much.
I'm gonna simulate my way out of here. Right?
You should simulate your way back into playing more Arcade Paradise. Because that game
That's right.
That's true. That's true. That one's pretty good.
That one is good, and you're still pulling gum off of stuff, and you're picking up garbage, and you're literally changing the laundry, but then you're also
cleaning toilets.
Yeah.
So good. All right, let's talk about some news. There's actually some positive news this week. I think it's mostly positive. I know a lot of times it's like a collection of layoffs and cancellations and delays. Well, I don't think there's any of that this week. If there was, I missed it, and please don't tell me about it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
So last week we talked about some of these. Two major outlets, Giant Bomb and Polygon, going through an overhaul, potentially a shutdown. Well, Giant Bomb has now been purchased officially by away from Fandom. Fandom sold it to former staff members of Giant Bomb. So you got Jeff Grubb,
Jeff
Bacalar,
case scenario.
Dan Reichert, Mike Minotti, and Jan Ochoa purchased it together, and they're going to keep running it independently. So there you go.
That's awesome.
I think that's great. I'm
super happy about that. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, now
Dan Reichert leave actually.
He left Giant Bomb, owned by Fandom, but now he's part of the purchasers, so he's back.
Right. Which is awesome. Yeah, because he's coming back. Because I know people like Dan. So.
Well, Jeff Grubb was fired. Like these are people that are like,
was he?
Were gone from Giant Bomb as part of this whole transition, and then they were like, let's buy it. So
I love that. Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So that is very cool.
Pretty great.
There you go. It's always good to have some good news there.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Echo the Dolphin. Does that bring back any memories for you? I guess Sega kids at all?
Are we getting a new one?
Love me some Echo.
Getting a new one?
So a new Echo the Dolphin is coming, and remasters of the first two games. So the creator...
Stop it.
Kids are about to know how hard that game was. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they are. Oh my gosh. The creator... I didn't know his name was... I didn't know the creator's name. It's Ed Annunziata. I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
So he was interviewed as part of this article celebrating Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and then he says about Echo that the entire team and him are going to remaster the original and the Tides of Time games. Then they're going to make a new third game with contemporary play and graphics processing sensibilities. So anyway, he says stay tuned to their website for more details. They have a countdown that currently is running through April 25th of next year. Feels like a placeholder date, but we'll see.
Everything old is new again.
That's right. Echo is back.
That's wild, man. I never actually fully played those games, but someone recently in some stream was like talking about it, and they're like, yeah, the ending's super weird, man. Like you end up seeing, spoiler alert, like friggin' aliens or whatever. Like,
oh, that's right.
Like,
yeah,
I
do remember.
I was like, what?
I do have memories of that. Yeah.
Like I had to look it up. I looked it up on you. I was like, no, stop it. It freaking dolphin game. And yeah, you're like fighting aliens underwater. Like by the end of the game, it's like, okay,
that's amazing.
Wild. That's
game of the
year. That's fantastic.
Ridiculous.
I love that. Yeah, I like seeing old stuff like that come back, and the idea of them making something new. That's cool too. I remember trying that game at my friend's house who had a Sega, and I was like, it's cool. The idea of being a dolphin, very cool. So hard. Like
so
died
hard.
A lot.
Yeah. I sucked at that game. I'll tell you that. I never saw the alien stuff. I just heard my friend who was better at platformers talk about it all the time.
Well, guys, how many Switch 2 consoles do you think Nintendo's going to sell at launch? They think it's 15 million. That's
at
crazy.
Launch?
Wow.
Like the first day?
At launch.
I think it's between 4 and I think it's between 4 and 9. I think 15.
I don't know what if it means first day, if it means in the first month, if it means the
launch window.
I mean, I don't know. It says they predict 15 million Switch 2s will be sold at launch is the terminology.
If they're talking window, 15 makes sense to me. If they're saying the first day, I'd be there's 15 million Switches here in America, or worldwide. Like I don't buy
here's
it.
The thing, like, are they taking into account, like, do they already know pre-order numbers? Like, I mean,
they might,
because if they're saying that, like,
they have to, because like from what I understand, like these consoles are in distributor warehouses, not like Nintendo warehouses. They're like Target has their Switches, like in whatever warehouse. Maybe not at the stores yet, but like.
So
it's like, I
give me
think
please.
I know, yeah. Let me drive to my local Target.
Switch 2, please.
Get it.
Switch 2, please.
Give it to me.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Switch 2, it sounds like, according to what the Final Fantasy remake director is saying, the way that he worded this, they're expecting all the remake games to come to the Switch 2, not just the first one. Because he talked about their games coming to the Switch 2, and he referred to it as the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. And he said that. He worded
Phil Spencer's like, they're not taking my calls. They're ignoring my emails. They're,
Dude, it is actually insane how Square is just like, Xbox, you. Like,
big time.
Yeah, but
like,
wow, Nintendo, get over here. Get over here, you cutie.
Blue Dragon. We're not putting another game on your console ever again.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that's cool. I mean, of course, they've officially announced the first one, so we know that'll hit relatively soon. I don't know if it's a launch game or not, but it's going to be on the Switch 2 relatively soon. And then we'll get Rebirth on there too. And then who knows? Maybe at some point after the third one launches, I'd be shocked if it's a launch day and date for Switch 2. Now that's an even bigger how you doing over to Phil Spencer and Xbox. You know what I mean? That'd be crazy.
I feel like it's gonna have to be, because with all the stuff with Rebirth and like all the complaining and them saying, oh, no, the sales.
How many copies they would sell to launch on a Switch? Like they would sell.
I hope a lot.
So many copies.
Speaking of selling a lot of copies, I would like a chance to just toot collectively all of our horns and go, told ya, Switch 2 sold. Everyone hemming and hawing about the prices and guess what crashed websites? Guess what's projected to do 15 million? You're wrong. Everyone,
guys, they're saying that the launch day will outsell the Wii U's lifetime. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. Everyone peacocked. Jeez. Everyone put up their hackles or whatever, and you were wrong. At the end of the day, everyone got their wallets out and paid for one of these stupid things. So, gotcha. Current gen's always right. Hashtag current gen's always right.
That's right. You heard it here on Current Gen first. That we're always right.
That's not biased.
Nowhere else.
That's right.
Nowhere else.
Now, Kyle, you talked about Oblivion for a little bit. I know you're just loving revisiting that game. It's an all-time favorite for a lot of people. It's also now the third best-selling game of the year right now, according to Circana data, which is crazy.
$50 remaster.
Yep. Best-selling game of the year. And it got there pretty quickly. So we know that Bethesda has said, at least during the first week, they said, hey, over 4 million people have already played it. I assumed that like 3.5 million of those would have been Game Pass. Like that was in my head. I'm just kind of like, most of those are probably Game Pass. But for it to already be outselling everything except for Monster Hunter Wilds and Assassin's Creed Shadows, those are the only 2 games that have outsold it this year. So apparently it's, and this is not Game Pass players. This is sales.
Nobody wants remasters or remakes anymore, right? We're all tired of these, right?
Dude, everyone's always, I'm telling you, oh, they're going to release The Last of Us 2 one more time, blah, blah, blah. And then we all got our monies out whenever it was the right one. I'll tell you that. It's almost like everything's not for you. Just wait your turn.
Almost. It is almost like that. You're right. Yeah. And then this is also, I think it's good news because it kind of confirms what Microsoft's been saying, and I think what a lot of PlayStation gamers have been hoping. Gears of War is coming to PS5. That to me, other than Halo, that's like to me, that's like the biggest deal outside of Halo of that arriving.
I mean,
PlayStation.
Absolute. Like, what world are we living in right now? Like, what is happening? What is going on?
I think it's coming out at like $40 or something like that. Like, I think it's a way budget price.
It's the first one, right? Isn't it like the remastered version of the first one?
It's the remaster. I think they've added some extra, fidelity or whatever, or cleaned it up or something like that. But yeah, it is. But I think it's only like $40. I think it's $40 or $50 or something like that. I don't think it's a full price game. Because remember, they said that a lot of the games that they're bringing over to PlayStation will be like $80 experiences or whatever. And like, this is not one of those. So for whatever reason you slept on Gears of War, I mean, people love that game. If you like third-person shooters, definitely give it a go for sure.
I mean, I finally got to experience it when I bought the Series S over there. Like, I had not actually
all of them, right? Didn't you play through all 5 of them?
Yeah, all 5 of them. So I had really great time with them. So
I guess if you count Judgment, there's 6 of them, right? Aren't there 6 games?
I didn't do Judgment.
And everybody counts Judgment. I've taken the votes. They all count it.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah.
I played it, but I couldn't tell you. It was the most forgettable one, that's for sure. But I played it. I did play it. Because I kind of did the same thing, Dan, a couple years before you, I think. But I did a playthrough of all of them, and I really had a good time playing those games.
Yeah, actually, really fun.
The first one, the remastered one, it plays like a modern day game. It's so good. Like, the remastered version of that first one is amazing. 2 and Judgment and 3 still felt dated. They felt like, a couple generations ago. But and then 4 and 5, I know that people have their qualms with them. I love both 4 and 5.
Are 4 and 5? They're not. I thought those were universally loved. I thought that's where people really
got
on board. Yeah, I guess
I think it's more about the characters than anything else. But
I get you.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I will say I like 4 and 5 more than the trilogy, but I also don't have
as
the
games
nostalgia.
to play. I agree with you though. Like, as video games to play, like controlling the way it feels and the pacing, I totally agree. Yeah, they're good, really good games.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of cool. That Gears. I mean, that one of the last.
Do you think they've released these one at a time?
Is Halo. I do. I think we'll see them come because they don't think they've ever done 2 and 3 remastered, have they? Am I missing something?
No, do you think they will though? Do you think they'll remaster those and then like bring them over, or like
put them on both?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm interested to see like how they piecemeal that, because like it made sense to me just to release like 1 through 3 in like one package, but like this seems smarter. They can get $40 per game out of like dumb Sony ponies, like that'd be awesome. Yeah, let Microsoft get their money. Like
that's true.
These are high quality like games, and this is a flagship pillar franchise for like Xbox. So it's like, again, y'all were talking about the surprise of it coming over on the level of like a Halo or whatever. Yeah, I mean, and again, like I feel like you could release these one by one, and like I think people would buy them. So,
and of course, the FTC dropped their suit against Microsoft. So like, never mind, you guys are doing what you said you would do. Never mind.
Yeah, imagine that. Imagine that they stuck to the plan of making money. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so bizarre that they
Xbox is like, we're raising our prices because we have to. We're screwed. Put it out on PlayStation. Put everything out on PlayStation. Like, we're screwed.
We're sharing all of our toys, and they're like, okay, we're out. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, there's 2 new trailers that I wanted to highlight that dropped this past week. The first one is the trailer from Mafia: The Old Country, which I am so pumped for this, and I love that they've even said, hey, this is not one of our live service, open world, like huge games. This is a linear story experience. And so we priced it that way. So it's $50 for this game, which is, I don't know if you guys remember, that was the price of new games for a little while there. Anyway.
Yeah, this would be considered like a, like a middle tier like game, like back in the day, like when you used to buy a game for like $39.99 or whatever, and it was like a small but tight experience. But you look at this and you like, this doesn't seem like a budget video game. I mean, this game looks incredible. I mean, when they're riding the horses on the countryside, like this game. And it's funny because they were talking about like how it was going to be linear. They call 1 and 2 linear as well, but it's in a world that's open. It's just not an open world, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I still don't really know. Because they said in the I shared a video where the devs were talking, where they're like, explore Sicily and yada. So it's like they're still using terms that it seems like you're maybe in a sandbox.
Oh, there's
that's
the horses.
empty.
Yeah.
and like and you're just going from point mission to mission or whatever, but like there is a like hub in between them. I don't know if that's the case, but like that's how 1
it's
and 2
also
would
probably
have
not a
been.
massive map, which it doesn't need to be.
No,
a huge
I don't.
map.
No, not at all. No, it's the 1800s.
Well, like LA Noire is technically open world, but you
that's
don't
what I mean.
really
It would be very
explore,
LA. Like that is a linear video game. As in there's one thing to go and do. Yeah, every once in a while you can like take a cop call and like pull over a car or something like that. But like that's how 1 and 2 were too. So I'm still a little confused of like the kind of moment to moment, like how am I getting to the next? Is it just a level? Like I complete a level, and then like we just go to the next thing. If that's the case, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, 1 and 2 were pretty linear, even though you're right, you could drive anywhere, but you didn't really ever want to drive anywhere. So I think it'll be like that. It'll be where you can, but it's
I just remember that's the lingo they used for 1 and 2. Like this is
3 was very
experience.
open, and
that's the only time they use that term as an open world.
It might have suffered for it a bit. 3 might have suffered because it was a good game. I really liked 3, but maybe it didn't need all the like collectibles and side stuff and go anywhere. It didn't need that.
People are into these games for the story. I really do, and the characters and stuff like that. And whatever gets me there quicker, whether that's just a short drive away or whatever, like great. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think 1 and 2 are fantastic. And at no point am I ever going, boy, I wish there was like side quest or hookers to beat up or whatever, like I don't, it doesn't, that's not when I'm playing this game.
I mean, I welcome the beating of hookers, but it's not necessary.
Listen, we're all nostalgic for beating up hookers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, GTA.
Thanks,
GTA. Speaking of GTA, that trailer dropped as well. And yeah, this warning is really needed for GTA trailers. But
so Kyle, this will be your 29th viewing, right?
Yeah, this is my 29th viewing. Yeah.
There are times when I saw clips of this and I thought like, oh, this is like the real world stuff it's based on. I realized, no, that's in a game. Okay. What?
Right.
So this is all captured on PS5, they said.
I'm in disbelief that it's captured on PS5. Yeah. And I know and not in the way where like there's people like there's sleuths online going, there's no way this is real, and they're trying to like analyze it. First off, there's nothing to analyze. You have no idea what you're doing. So like you're just
right.
But like the fact that it's this high in fidelity in an open world constantly, and they kept on saying was this cutscenes and its gameplay. That's what Rockstar said. So people will be like, well, all these are cutscenes, obviously. The cutscenes in GTA are in engine. So these aren't like Final Fantasy FMV sequences where they're like bumped up, you know what I mean? Like this,
and all of a sudden everyone looks different. Yeah. You're like, whoa, all of a sudden
like,
their mouths
if you
work?
remember in GTA when it transitions from a cutscene to a gameplay, it's seamless. Like there's no like cut or anything like that.
Well, I remember that from Rebirth when it would be a real cutscene, everything was motion captured and it looked like it, at least it was perfect. The mouth would match up with the words, but then like in-game stuff, it was like, what happened to their mouths? Now they're just buying, and that's just because
classic.
That's the way Square's done a lot, and most companies, I would argue, do that same thing. Like in a cutscene, it's going to be like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, same thing. In world, it kind of worked. It was close, but not quite there. Cutscenes, it was perfect.
Yeah,
this looks unbelievably real. It looks so good.
Yeah. I am like already in on these characters. Like I'm so in. Like they released on their website like character dossiers for like I think like 70 different like characters or something like that, or 70 different characters and locations.
Oh wow!
So there's a lot of information outside of just this trailer out there. So like the main character, the dude, like he's ex-military and like he does jobs for like low tier criminals around town. And like the girl, she is like kind of a rambunctious, like grew up kind of, I think, a fighter of some sort, like MMA fighter or something like that. And it's just like landed in jail. Like the story starts with her getting out and him kind of being integrated a little bit into low crime. And like as you see there, she's doing community service, like so.
Yeah, she had the vest on. Yeah,
there's gonna be this slow burn opening that's gonna be really cool. And I think, and I don't mean to steal from what GameScoop brought up, but one of the guys on GameScoop brought up how it's just like this trailer introduces these characters as real human beings, and like it feels like for the first time you're not playing like psychopaths, like where it's like I don't know if I'm gonna feel like being an ex-military dude and jumping in a car and like mowing down, like when I'm having fun, sure, but like I don't know if I'm gonna play this game like I play it when I was playing as Trevor, like in GTA 5, or even Michael, who's kind of like a psychopath in his own right or whatever. I think when you're playing as Franklin in 5, for example, like you're kind of playing it a little.
Franklin's the most like a redeemable character of that.
And again,
of
I don't mean to
5.
impose like the way I was playing these games on other people, but I think a lot of
Yeah,
I'm
people
with
like
you.
when you kind of role played a little bit, like, hey, when I'm playing
Yeah.
as Franklin, I'm driving my car that I bought, and I'm gonna upgrade it. I'm not a psychopath. I'm not
There's
someone
a
mouths
level of
off.
honor to what you're doing with him
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
sure.
Whereas, like, when
Yeah.
someone mouths off to me and I'm playing as Trevor, I'm shooting them in the street.
Yeah,
An
beating
NPC,
the
watch
shit
out
out
of your
of.
way, and I just shoot him immediately. Like, it just like
Yeah.
there's an activation of psychopath that happens when you're playing as Trevor, and I just think these characters are being introduced as like, I don't know, something real. And if this game takes what Red Dead Redemption 2 did about like working through hard times with like family and the ones you love and stuff like that, and like that becomes the story of this or the heart of this game, I couldn't be more in. I'm so bought in. If one of these two have to kill each other by the end of this game, if someone dies in this game, it's gonna be awful. It's gonna be heartbreaking. I feel like I'm really attached to
Because
like
I
these
already
characters
buy
already.
their relationship. I'm like,
I
yep,
do
these
too.
two are
They
like,
just they're having
Yeah,
fun. I
yeah,
also wanted to
yeah.
bring up like this is the first game in a long time that put like sex first. This is a sexy trailer. Like it is
Mm-hmm.
all
it's pretty
butts
sexy.
and boobs and like it just like
Yeah,
they're having sex
well, it's
multiple times
GTA,
in the
right? Yeah.
trailer. Well, sure, but
GTA.
like I just feel like a lot of games like we're not living in a time where we're making dead or alive beach volleyball games anymore. Like
No, of
we're
course.
not
Well,
a
actually,
we're a
one did
very
just come out.
okay. Yeah.
Of course it did.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Which is insane. Like,
Of
but
course it
like
did.
we haven't been in a time in a long time where we've been making sexy games or whatever, and like
true,
a
very true.
GTA just kind of came out of left field. I just feel like they really wanted to make it known that like we're playing by our own rules still. We're not beholden to whatever's going on in the world or anything like that. This is
Yeah.
what our vibe is. This is who we are. Here it is, and I feel like again we were talking about Expedition with their confidence. This has got to be one of the most confident trailers I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's really
And
confident.
like,
You've got two leads that seem compelling. They're both good looking. They seem really
yeah,
into each other. They seem
yeah,
like it doesn't like you said, I don't buy it as, hey, they're both Bonnie and Clyde crazy people who just want to hurt people. That's not the
yeah.
vibe that the trailer gives off at all. And that's going to be
Right.
an easy buy-in for me as a player. Like, yep, these are the characters I want to control. Now, will you do awful things? Of course. Will
Yes,
you
of
do like
course, yeah.
horrific things in that city? Absolutely you will. There'll be a lot of
Yeah.
innocents
It's gonna be
injured
a
and
mission
shit.
that makes you
absolutely.
mad. You're gonna get out of it, and you're like, I'm just gonna blow up someone with an RPG. You
Yeah.
know, like, you're gonna do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It
But
also kind of feels
storyline
like
wise,
yeah, and in the last game, maybe Franklin aside, like it wasn't really, or even GTA 4 is kind of like this too. It wasn't really a rags to riches story, like Vice City and GTA 3 was. Franklin's story a little bit in 5, where it's like you start like in like his house and you end up like in a house in the Hollywood Hills, sure. But like
yeah, you're
this
right.
seems like
Michael's
it's
already rich and Trevor doesn't care.
doesn't care. Yeah, yeah. And
Right,
GTA
right,
4, it
right.
was about revenge. It was kind of about pursuing the American dream, but the theme was is when he got there, that's a lie. There is no American
Right.
dream. And
Sure.
like this is playing a little more into like obviously when this game starts, you're living in a shack. You see it in the trailer. He's doing little odd jobs for like little tiny criminals. But when you start reading those dossiers, the people you are going to be rubbing shoulders with in this game, you're gonna get higher and higher profile, like missions and heists and things to go on. And I think your status or their status, from being like two criminals, like one with who's like on probation and has like a little thing on their leg or whatever to kind of keep them in check. I think there's going to be a lot of like growth in terms of where they were and where they're going to be. And yes, that might always be kind of the story of GTA, but it does feel a little more throwback to me, like Vice City, the original,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
3, where again, like it feels like there's just kind of a road to riches here, and I'm excited for
Yeah.
that. I like how dingy Florida looked in this. Like when they do like the street
Which,
like shots, there's trash everywhere.
that's
It's
correct.
dirty. There's homeless
That's
people.
how it looks.
It
Yeah.
looks gross, but then
Yeah.
you get to like the higher profit areas, like the nightclub
Right.
areas, and it's like vibrant and neon.
And the beach, is really beautiful, of course,
got
because
the
Florida
beach,
beaches
you
are
got
gorgeous. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you got the industrial area, you got the swamplands, you got like there's going to be a lot of like biomes, if you will, and they're leaning into it being a state and not a city again. So we're in
Yeah.
Leonidas, the state. So
I'm so excited to see like the first like full on like, all right, here's the game and the camera's behind the character, and just like I want to go to the beach and I just want to see the hundreds of people that are walking to the
Same.
beach in this game and just like the realness of it, of like, look at all these AI characters walking around and just existing on this beach, and technically you could just plow through all of them if you want.
You could, yeah. And you see it in the trailer where it's like the old guy with his shirt off, he's sunburned, he's glaring over at the girl who's sunbathing with the little skimpy, swimsuit on. And like you could just tell, I'm like, this game's gonna be filled with this alive nature of these NPCs just interacting.
And everyone's gonna be like, I know that guy. I know that guy. I've seen him before.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah. It's really something, man. And like I know everyone's been talking about this too, but like I don't know if y'all saw the liquid physics in the beer bottles. When he's carrying the beer bottles, you see photorealistic physics of the liquid inside of these beer bottles. Or anytime someone's drinking a drink, like it just looked too real. Like kind of like in the first trailer when the girl throws her hair back, and I'm like, that's the realest hair physics. I think they're going so full bore into like the physics of everything.
It's what we talked about earlier. Like I want their pores to look, the iris and their eyes to look perfect.
Right, but it's only going to be 30 frames per second, so I'm not buying it. They give me headaches when I play it. I can't play 30 frames a second. Red Dead Redemption was an atrocity to man. Yeah. So guess what, guys? It's gonna be 30
but hey,
frames.
when you got
that
the money,
trailer was in 30 frames. Eat it. You're gonna play this game. I promise you will. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, people will complain, I'm sure, but they'll end up buying it. They'll
complain, but like it'll be this empty thing where
it'll be the best selling game within like a month. It'll be crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, we have 1 year to wait. 1 year plus a couple weeks to wait for this. So we got plenty of time to, like Dan said, see some actual gameplay. I'm sure they'll reveal some gameplay things in action. They might even do like some deeper dives into the characters and behind the scenes stuff. They have plenty of time to decide what depth of marketing they want to do outside of just flashy trailers.
The song's got the GTA bump too. So you had "Hot Together" by I forget, Twisted Sisters, I think, and then you had Wang Chung Tonight. Both of those like hit top Spotify, like so they got that GTA bump. Yeah,
dude, it's
I like
a
that they chose like
shift
80s
when this stuff happens.
Like they're still leaning into that 80s. I know it's a modern day game, but like they chose like 80s music. They want to just be like, guys, we're going back to Vice City, and
Vice City, yeah.
Man, I'm just super into it, dude.
Yeah, Rockstar says that over. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just gonna say also too, like what Kyle's saying, like we're going back to Vice City, but like, dude, the Vice City on PS2 is like such like a narrow game, right? Because it's like long, like that map is long.
It's too long.
Like here, it's
connected by bridges,
right?
Yeah.
But here it's gonna be like this whole like GTA 5, but like even more elevated. Like that's insane.
Yeah,
like it's just so cool.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the map will be like, how much will be open country and how much will be like a Miami type city and how much will be a Orlando maybe with a amusement park. Like what are they going to do with the cities? I'm curious. Or Tampa Bay maybe. Or just a lot of Everglades where they have like a big swampy area. I'm curious about all that stuff.
It seems like it's going to be really focused on like influencers. Like all through the trailer, they're like, oh, I'm with this influencer. I'm an up and coming artist, and I'm like, we're gonna get so much great like American commentary, again, like it's poking fun at it, but it's also living in it in a really authentic way. And that's what GTA does the best.
You might have to decide what to do when you see protesters sitting on the highway, holding up signs across the highway. I'm sure you guys.
That's 1,000% going to be an ambient event. That's 1,000% going to be it. And guess what? We're all going to choose to run through them. And I don't, I'm not saying we all think about that when it happens in real life, but like,
that's right.
They're going to do it in this game. I promise.
There's going to be a mission where you have to throw soup on a painting and then glue yourself to the wall in protest
That's
of oil
very
companies.
Inside baseball, but I get that reference. Yeah.
I'm excited for this. They said it's the most viewed video launch of all time across all platforms. They're at about 500 million views across YouTube and everywhere else they've posted. YouTube, I think, is at like 100 million, and they're saying on all the other platforms combined, all the social media and video apps that are out there.
People are doing like 40-minute long breakdowns of this 2.5-minute trailer. So because there's so much other information out there too. Again, with the website, I really suggest y'all go to the website because it's their classic like art style, where you're seeing kind of like
the character portraits art. And stuff.
Sometimes the character portraits, sometimes in-game, portraits, and then you have like a nice little dossier and background. Like this guy does drug runs and does this. So you're kind of meeting your mission handlers, and they go deep into the locations and stuff. Like there's there's a bunch of information out there that's outside this 2.5-minute trailer. I really encourage everyone to go. And apparently that website was crashing all day, the very first day.
Of course.
Again, this isn't a pre-order website. This is just a website.
I know. This is just to learn about the game.
Just
this
information.
This is just words. This website couldn't produce words on a screen, because people were coming to the site in droves.
Too many words. So many people.
Really
I know it's really basic, bro, to be like, I'm so excited for this game. No, duh. It's like, but like, this is one of my favorite franchises ever. It's gonna be electric. I think
we will be almost to 13 years since the fifth one released when this one comes out.
It'll be worth every year.
That's crazy.
It'll be worth every day. I promise. It'll be worth it. I promise it will. Yeah. I will eat crow if this game sucks. I will. We'll go outside. And
so an actual crow, or
yeah, I'm gonna grab not a metaphorical one, a real one, and I will Ozzy Osbourne that head off right here live on current gen. So
I'll be like, I'm eating crow. Or I'm not as good as Jeff at doing that impression, but the crow.
Yeah, it's crazy that the fifth one came out when my oldest son was starting kindergarten.
Wow.
And
it's
he's starting college this fall. Like, he just graduated high school.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah. So that's just to put it like my son has fully grown up from a child into a young man.
Right.
In the time that we've waited for Rockstar to make another one of these games. That's crazy.
He's gonna be old enough to buy.
I'm still waiting on becoming a real man since the Grand Theft Auto 5 came out.
So you're right. I shouldn't have used that phrase. Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up with stuff that we're playing, whether it's recent or old stuff. And I know that a lot of our time we've already shared. We're spending a lot of time playing. You guys played a lot of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which we talked about a lot. I'm sure we have more conversations in the future about that one. Some time in Oblivion, of course. Dan, why don't we start with you? Is there anything else other than the games we've already discussed that you've been spending time with?
Nope. Just Expedition. That's all it's been, because that game is amazing. But I have been watching. I've been like itching, like I've mentioned before quite a few times, like nostalgia for like certain things from like watching YouTube videos, and I'm like, I want to watch some like older stuff. So I've been watching some movies the last couple of weeks that I haven't seen you guys. Some old, some new. First, I watched Annihilation.
Oh, whoa!
Finally watched Annihilation.
All right. You know what? It warms my heart when a wreck.
You're in a weird place. Clair Obscur and now Annihilation. You're in a very weird place. I like it.
I mean, actually, kind of similar as far as like visuals being wild. There's some pretty cool imagery,
and just it being a one-way expedition that no one really knows what the end game is.
Actually,
that's kind of the other parallel.
Yeah,
and things just kind of get weirder the further in you get.
True.
What'd you think of it?
True.
What'd you think?
I did like it. There are certain like little things here and there. Like, I don't know, some of the characters act kind of weird, and I didn't really like get it in the moment. But then like I guess like you learn a bit more. You like learn like the blonde woman there. She just seems very like blasé, and I was just like, what's going on? Like, what is this like actress phoning it in? But then like you learn like what's kind of going on with her later on. So it's like, oh, okay, that does make sense. That makes sense. What like where her mind's at, like why she's kind of like is the ways that she is. So, but yeah, it's very trippy. Again, the visual, I think really mostly it's just the visual aspect of the movie, like when they go into the glimmer area and like just how colorful everything is, but it's also like horrifying. And yeah, the further and further you get in, and then as you get towards the end of the movie, like, dude, there's some like unbelievably trippy ass stuff that happens in that last like, what was it, like 15 minutes or whatever. Like it's just it just absolutely insane. Really, really cool stuff going on there.
What did you think of the famous
I thought it was
scene?
cool. Yes, that was horrifying. That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's one of
and it's just so
most
abrupt.
Yeah, it's like visually and auditorially horrifying, because like the concept is, without giving too much away, is that like there's like everything in the glimmer, in the sphere, all the DNA is like reflecting and refracting off of each other, so everything starts to kind of like meld together, and you get this like bear sequence that's like half bear, half person, and it is just it sounds stupid on paper. It's just so creepy. It's so horrifying.
No, it's creepy because like the audio aspect of it is creepy because of like what that bear did earlier, and then that kind of callback to like then that moment, like what you're hearing, the bears like it's like, wow, that's so creepy, man. Like, and
It
it's just
growls, but there's
horrifying.
undertones of people like asking for help
Yes.
underneath it. Like, so it's growling and then you hear this help, like on top, layered on
So
top
it's
of the
so
audio of the growl.
yeah,
So
It's
creepy.
it's an auditorial
yeah, yeah,
masterpiece. It's a good time.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
that
I'm glad you
movie,
watched
very
it.
cool. And then I watched a couple of them with my wife because I started watching it and I was like, actually, she might like this because she likes like murdery stuff and like kind of like there's the mystery element. I watched Knives Out and Glass Onion with my
Oh,
wife.
nice. Those are
Yeah,
fun.
And
I like
yeah,
those
those are really
movies.
fun. Those are
Yeah.
really, really cool.
Some good
I
modern
like
day
been wanting
whodunits.
Yeah.
yes, I've been wanting to watch them for a while, and I like that it's not like, oh, like here's like what this is in the beginning, and then at the kind of you go through it, and then at the end, it's like no, like they really kind of like throw stuff at you pretty early on. You're like, oh shit, okay, all right, so like we kind of already
Yeah.
get what's going on here, but
Daniel
then like
Craig
there's
is
obviously
having
more,
so much fun in those roles too. You can tell.
dude, him with the
Yeah,
accent.
I just like in the first Knives Out is that like who did it immediately, and so it's not about it. Kind
Right,
of again
right,
like we talk about Ryan Johnson who like subverted expectations with like Last Jedi and what people lost their minds. He kind of took those lessons
yeah,
and subverted the entire genre of the Who Done It, and like
sure,
imploded like its framework or whatever. It ended up being really
yeah,
good, and it helps
Yeah.
that
I
like
think he's got
everybody
another
is
one, a third
hella
one's
famous.
in,
Yeah,
being made right now, right?
it's
yeah,
already casted and
yeah,
everything. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they already shot it if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Nice.
Um,
Those are good times.
Yeah, those are really fun. And then I finished I wrapped up Companion today. I started that like yesterday, and then I finished that one. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Mm-mm.
I did
Um,
see that one.
but
Yeah.
it's a newer movie. So essentially, it's the movie starts with like a moment of the girls like in the grocery store, and then she has like the meet cute moment with the guy that she ends up dating. Um, so it's like I don't know if you'd use the word sci-fi, but basically there's kind of something going on with her that's not totally the norm that you find out pretty early in the movie.
When the
But
trailers
like it's
like
a dark
spoil it completely too. Yeah.
yeah, it does. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a dark comedy. It's a dark comedy. Like it's violent. There's definitely some pretty at least towards the end, especially there is a little bit of violent imagery because people are getting killed. But it's supposed to be like a dark comedy because the boyfriend basically doesn't then want to be with her anymore, um, because of reasons. Um, I just don't want to say like literally because it is kind of like a fun little twist if you just happen to not know. But
It's fun because the twist
I
that
did
they
enjoy
reveal
it.
in the trailer ends up not being the biggest twist in the film. So, I say it spoiled it,
Right.
but like, yeah, there are bigger things going
Yeah.
on in
Yeah.
that movie. It's fun. I like that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. And then the last one, I went 90s. I wanted just that like pure 90s. Like, give me this nostalgia. I watched Speed. I watched
Oh,
fucking
nice.
Speed, man,
One
because
of
I
the
hadn't seen this
greats.
movie since I was a kid,
Die
and
Hard on
it's
a
just
bus.
that. Yeah, it's just so fun. It's such a fun movie, and like there is a little bit of like cheese there, like 90s cheese to it, but
Yeah,
it's like I don't know.
sure.
It's actually it's a pretty serious movie, and like there's definitely some violent image. I actually forgot like in the beginning of the movie how he just like stabs that dude in the temple. Like, oh shit, okay, all right, he just full on stabs that guy in the temple there. Um, but and I kind of forgot that whole beginning uh in the building with the elevator. Like that whole segment's actually pretty long. Like in my head I was like I thought this was only like a 10-15 minute like intro. It's like it almost like is close to a half hour. It's a good chunk of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I remember seeing
I'm
an interview with Jeff Daniels where he talks about getting the right expression for that moment where he sees the thing. He's
Mm,
just like, oh
yeah,
shoot. Like
yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
yeah.
he talks about like trying to find that right expression, which was kind of
Hmm.
fascinating to me.
He kind of has like a little bit of a
Yeah,
lip
well,
quiver.
cause
It's good. It's a that
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna be really honest here. I love that movie. I grew up
Speed
with
is
it, so
Oh
great.
yeah,
there's a little bit of like yeah, like I grew up with it, so I love it. I think it's a fantastic action movie. I think
Yeah.
like
yeah, yeah,
it was the stepping stones for Keanu Reeves. To
Sandra
kind of be
Bullock.
like
yeah.
this action star that was being built by his like role in Point Break. He kind of took the
Yeah.
ball running with
Hmm.
that. And I think it's got a lot of great action set pieces. And Dennis Hopper is always great.
Dude,
Always, he's never bad
Dude, he just
he's
ever.
chews it
having so
up. He
much
chews it
fun.
up in that thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's
is
having so much
so
fun.
at 11. He's at 11. It's so great, and a lot of great lines in that movie. I like the comedy too, where
Dude,
like
I
the
miss
guy
the
prepares.
90s villains.
Yeah.
You had Alan Rickman technically in Die Hard. Technically, that's late 80s, but Then you had Tommy Lee Jones in Under Siege. Like they just
Yeah.
kind of went wild, like way out of character, crazy villains
Yeah,
back
just
then.
chewing scenery. Yeah.
And Dennis Hopper, of
Yeah.
course, in this and Waterworld, like he's nuts. And
Oh my
He's
God,
so
Water-
crazy
I
in
forgot he was in
Waterworld. Is
Waterworld.
so everyone is on drugs in Waterworld. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh yeah,
I unapologetically love that movie too. I know it was like a giant flop,
Sure.
but like, boy, that movie.
that's the kind of
so
movie
fun.
that it'll be on, or when I had cable, or I'll start it when it's too late, and I'm like, I'll just turn it off when I get tired, and I'll watch the whole thing because I'm just like, I gotta
Yeah.
keep
Sure.
watching, I gotta-
Smokers.
I mean, it's Mad Max in
so
the
good.
ocean. It's
It
Mad
is
Max
Mad
out at
Max
sea.
in the
Like,
ocean. It's the
it's
same
just-
vibe,
that's what it
dude.
is.
Yeah, it was like American Mad Max, and we're gonna make it
Yeah.
expensive by putting it on open water.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
But yeah, Speed's freaking
Speed.
awesome, man. Yeah, I had
Love
literally
it.
not seen that since I was a kid, when I shouldn't have been watching it. But my dad or whatever was probably watching it. I was like, I'm gonna watch Speed.
Yeah.
He's like, he didn't.
Yeah, that was
say
back when
no,
Sandra
so I
Bullock was
watched it.
really getting all those big roles.
Yeah,
like she was starting to become like either the love interest or a main character in all kinds of different dramas and action movies throughout the 90s there. So yeah, she was also on the rise.
Yeah.
And the if you ever listen to the soundtrack, and the soundtrack's amazing in Speed. Mark
really?
Mancina did the soundtrack on that, who's from the Hans Zimmer school of learning music.
Okay.
So if it kind of sounded like Metal Gear Solid music, that's because Harry Gregson Williams
Interesting.
also graduated from that school. So
I will say it might be one of the biggest drops from quality of original to sequel. Might be the biggest.
I actually never saw the sequel.
It's so
But,
bad.
you know,
Speed 2 is so
when they
bad.
I don't know if
it's
I
not
don't know if
great.
that guy's
It's
supposed
not
to be
great.
Keanu Reeves' character. I don't know if they recasted
It's
him. I don't
No, he's
I'm
not.
pretty sure that's
He's
Scott
not.
Speedman. I'm pretty sure.
That's why it's called
Hang
Speed, man.
Like literally Sandra Bullock's character in the second one, like there's a brief like mention
No,
of
Patrick.
Keanu's character. Like,
Jason Patrick. Jason Patrick.
okay.
Like
Remember
a
when you're trying to make
B movie 90s and early 2000s guy, Jason Patrick.
Yeah.
But they do that thing where like Keanu gets mentioned about like, oh, like, so do you have a boy, like that kind of thing.
So
And
Sandra
like,
Bullock
like,
just
says
like hooks up with people that she's in crisis with. That's like her thing.
yeah, basically.
That's her thing.
All right,
Yeah,
great.
basically.
What a great character. That's awesome.
Hey, but Willem Dafoe's in it though, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay. I might be back in. All right.
Oh, was he? I didn't even remember that. Holy shit. I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
What if Speed? But
Willem's great.
The
We need a
subtitle's
third one
cruise
in
control,
space.
so it's not.
Oh no.
Cruise
Because it
control.
means two things. Yeah. Cruise
Yeah,
like a ship. Yeah.
It's not good.
Wow. Yeah. The
That's-
90s were really subtle. I'll tell you.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. But listen, man, there was a vibe there, and that movie, rewatching it, achieved what I wanted.
I would absolutely watch that one again. The first
That
one.
movie
for
is
sure.
a vibe.
For sure.
Yeah.
You should.
Well, Kyle,
It's
what
great.
else? What have you been watching or playing besides the stuff we've already discussed?
I really haven't been playing anything else, so I'm just going to take from Dan's inspiration and just name a couple things I've been watching. Speaking of Alex Garland, I saw his new movie Warfare. It is a movie about warfare.
Okay.
On
the
much
nose.
like
It's
not like Civil War, where Civil War kind of created like a fantasy world and kind of told a journalist story like within its framework, but like a comparison to it is that this is a military movie that also is not taking a political side. It's also not trying to illuminate a fictitious military heroicism that a lot of these movies sometimes like to do. It is not trying to sell you on anything. It is just trying to tell the most not believable, accurate story of how things just kind of went over there on this specific mission. It's a real mission. It was written by people who were really there. They were on set making sure that it was all right. Everything. I'm not saying everything happened exactly the same, but like they went out of their way to make sure that it was a parallel to like what happened and how things were handled and everything like that. And it is just an hour and a half of just your butthole clenching, because like it is just like it is all the most intense parts about Black Hawk Down, but the whole movie is like the most intense part of Black Hawk Down.
Dude, I love Black Hawk Down. Now
me
you've
too.
got
I'm
my
such
attention.
a huge fan of it. It's probably my favorite war movie, or one of them, because it's just so good. This is really good. And I've talked to a lot of people who are veterans who saw this movie and said like this is how it was over there, like just how IEDs were going off, how like you didn't know, just the way that you would post up in houses and like just spot like this is what they were doing over there, you know, for better or for worse. And again, the movie's not trying to say like what we were doing is right or just, or this is just what it was, you know. And I like that, because it gives you there's no room for thinking about like morals. It's just like you're just trying to make sure that these guys like get out of the situation alive. And there's no soundtrack, no music plays ever in this movie. It is all just sound effects, and it's the best sound design in any movie ever. You can hear every bullet casing. If you didn't see this in theaters, you might have missed your window, I got to be honest, unless you have like a nice sound system at home. But like you can hear every bullet casing hitting the ground. When people's like hearing goes out because of explosions, like the way that it just represents that is just so perfect. It's a really, really good, but maybe kind of hard to watch like war movie. And it might be one of the most like, again, historically accurate like war movies, and the way that like that particular war was like depicted, or at least missions and battles, you know, were depicted at that time. And again, it's a real mission with real people, real names, and real everything. So very, very good. I highly suggest that one. And just to blow through it, Last of Us is pretty good. You know, I'm excited for you guys to watch it whenever y'all get around to it. Y'all like the second game? You'll probably like the show. I don't know. It seems to be the case for people who liked it. People who didn't like the game, you know, aren't liking the show. So that's, you know, tracking pretty much how I thought it would. And I won't dwell on this long, but Andor just delivered the best 3 episodes of. It was the best hour of Star Wars.
So many good things.
Never, ever in my life did I think I would see something like this, like where everything I was just saying about like warfare, like the realism and how like it just kind of feels like you're trapped. Like there was 3 episodes of this arc in Andor that are just like, it is about a pressure pot of resistance kind of bubbling up like in an occupied area of the Empire, and the way that everything just like spirals out of control is like real and uncomfortable. And this is grown up, man. It's grown up stuff, man. This is not space wizards and magic and beam swords and dark wizards, and it's not that shit's in this movie or this show. This is,
you know, what's interesting is the timing of this and Thunderbolts bringing back both of those IPs into the good graces of critics and audiences alike is really interesting.
Kind of seems that way, huh? Disney kind of got a little wind in their sails suddenly. We'll see how long it takes for them to, you know.
We'll see if it sticks and if they recognize what made it work. You know what I mean? Like the key is, are you able to properly assess what did and didn't work of your previous projects, and then can you?
I will say when Disney was like, we're just gonna release 3 episodes a week with Andor, it did kind of feel like, oh, they just don't really believe in this, but they already kind of committed to it, so they're getting it out. I will say that the way that they're packaging, because the 3 episodes are like 3, it's like 3 episodes will happen, that's one story, a year passes. 3 episods happen, a year passes. 3 episodes, one story, a year.
Like little mini series.
It does feel like you're watching a movie every week, and the payoff that was in last week's was just like, it was 3 weeks in the making, 9 episodes in the making. I mean, it was some of the most perfect execution in a TV show I've seen. Not even just a Star Wars, but just like a TV show.
Not the character. I would have guessed that's where all this would have come from. Like when I originally met this character, that's not the one I would have thought.
I'm telling you, like they're adding so much context to this story. I feel like when you go back and watch Rogue One, like you're gonna be watching a different movie. Like it's just like it's gonna change the complete vibe of that movie just because of everything that you know. It's heavy. There's stakes. It's awesome. I'm really I know I'm the Star Wars guy going, hey, Star Wars is good. I'm really trying to like look outside of being a Star Wars fan, and like this is just good television. And the first season was too, but like this is just on a different level. They're just really doing a good job.
3 seasons total, right?
No, this will be it. So the last 3 episodes will be coming out Tuesday this week, day after the airing of this podcast, and that will end exactly where Rogue One picks up. He wanted to bridge it completely. So like the last scene that we see in whatever episode is going to happen next week will be the first thing that's happening in Rogue One.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Nice.
That's it.
Dan, did you freeze there for a second? I thought you froze. Did you freeze? No.
I mean, I froze for a few minutes. My PC just shut off. So.
Okay. Oh, because you got real still, and I thought you were just really into this Andor talk.
He's stunned.
Nah, just shut off. A
Oh, shout
frozen
out to
ice.
Boozy. By the way, watching a lot of Bad Friends, of course, it's always a fun thing to put on in the background. But a recent episode, Bobby and Andrew were talking about this reality show on Netflix that my wife and I actually really like, The Love on the Spectrum. We think it's very wholesome,
Mm.
like super sweet little reality show that they do. And they're talking about it, and they're talking about how much they love the characters. And Andrew hasn't finished it yet, but Bobby did because Bobby is a
Oh, I
binger and
saw
he
this.
watched all
Yeah.
of it. And then he immediately, and Angel's like, "Well, don't spoil it for me." He says it probably 6 times. Well, just don't spoil it. And Bobby
Watch.
absolutely spoils it for me.
Yeah, it
Like,
spoils the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, it's a reality show, so who cares? But on the other hand, it's like
Yeah,
he just
yeah.
said, "Don't do it," though. Like he
They're
just told
so
me not.
antagonistic to each other. That show lives up to its name. Like there
Yeah,
are times where I'm like, these
they
two
are bad
hate, like
friends.
they do not like each other, but they're like best
Yeah,
friends. So yeah.
yeah, I love it. I love that show. Okay, as far as stuff I'm playing, I did finish Assassin's Creed Shadows officially.
Boom.
And there's something about these games that I want to do everything I can before the credits roll because I know my motivation after the credits roll. It's just instinctual. I'm like, I'm ready to play something else.
Right.
Like
Right.
there's something to it. Like if you choose to roll the credits, you're telling me I've finished my experience here, and
Right.
maybe
Absolutely.
I'll keep playing, but probably not. So I tried to do all the side stuff that I could. I left some things unfinished. Some of the circles of assassinations that I did not complete,
But
but
there's
most of them I did.
so many.
There's so many. The
Yeah.
board
So
is
many.
massive and it's all over the place. There's like so many of those, but I finished a lot of them. I put
Cool.
in about 78, 79 hours or something like that total into this game. I cleared a lot of the map, not all of it. I got to most of the main places is what I was trying to do.
Mm.
So I did most of that, and I just had a blast with it, man. I really, really love this game. I think it's great. Speaking of characters' faces, we made fun of Bethesda earlier. I actually don't think they're that bad, but Ubisoft does a great job with faces and expressions and the way they talk. And I was really impressed in all the cutscenes. Like I felt like there was nuance and reaction and emotion. I thought they did a great job with.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the most beautiful games. It's not maybe like games like Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is very unique. So it's got this art style that just pops and jumps out at you. So that's going to stick with you. So
Mhm.
maybe Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't going to stick with people as much just because, and like I'm playing South of Midnight. That style just pops and it's like, it really,
Right.
it's like art. This is more like, oh, I'm actually in Japan in the 1600s. Like I'm actually there. Like it just looks really real. It looks gorgeous. But I can see how maybe it doesn't, because a lot of over time the castles and villages and countrysides, it does start to kind of like I couldn't tell you if you drop me in one place in the map, I couldn't tell you where I am because it's not super
Yeah.
Yeah, it
unique
kinda
every
blurs
place you
together.
go. Some of the places are unique. Some of them have these tall redwoods that look like you're in the redwood trees in California. Like it's really cool. And some places is a little more farm fields. But for the most part, every area has a mixture of everything. It's what it feels like to me when I
Yeah.
play it. So, but man, I really love it. I thought it was great. You could say it overextends its welcome a little bit, maybe, but I enjoyed the gameplay so much. I didn't feel that way. I thought the ending of the story for both characters was really satisfying. I loved it. So when they have DLC, I
I
will
think that's
absolutely
also
play it.
on the player. People complaining about these games. It's like you can just, if you think that's too long, then just go right back onto the main path there.
I
You
think
know,
they do a really good job of making like they give you a lot of content and go, it's up to you. Like, and I feel like Oblivion
Yeah.
does this and Skyrim does it, and we don't talk about those games being too long, like
Right.
so. And
Sure.
I feel like there is kind of an unfair, like we just like to say this about Ubisoft games, not we, but the royal we,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't always buy into it. I'm always blame the consumer first. That's
Yeah.
always where
Yeah.
I want to point my finger at. And like, yeah, if you are bored or burned out or yada yada, it's because you weren't regulating your intake.
Yeah.
And that's on you.
Right.
And that's not
Listen,
on the
there's a
developers
main
making a
circle
game
that
too
you have
long.
to take out. That's the story, and then each of your characters has their own little missions that will throughout the
Yeah.
main storyline pop up. You have to go do this for Naue or for Yasuke.
Right.
And that happens. And even at the end, after the circle is complete, you have a couple of mission strands for each of them to complete. That does a great job of kind of
Yeah.
wrapping up their stories, or kind of like telling you maybe where it's going to go in DLC or
Mhm.
whatever, if they ever continue telling their stories. So those are the things that are required to experience the whole game. The rest of it optional, but I'll tell you, like for example, taking out the yokai, like there's these rumors of these spiritual oni, these
Mhm.
like these yokai, these demons that are attacking, right? And so, and each of them has their own story and reasoning and whatever. And then it wraps up in a way that makes you go like, oh, holy crap. Like, okay, interesting. So I liked that. Same thing with your Yasuke's sensei's students. He wants you to go duel them, each of them. And he has a
Yeah.
reason why you're supposed to go do that. I found those to be super compelling. I finished that storyline and went back, and then there's another little tiny thread to finish to wrap up that whole thing. Loved it. So you don't have to do those things, but I think they're great. So I think it's fun to finish up those storylines personally.
Yeah, well, and it's good that they made it interesting because it could just feel like side content or not important content or not well thought out content, and it sounds like it's all of those things. So,
yeah, I think it is. I think it's really well thought out. There's plenty of
point
stuff you
yourself in
don't
the
have to
direction that's
do.
interesting you and follow, like pull on the thread if you like it. If you're not feeling it, like leave. And again, like it's your fault. Like if you're allowing yourself to be burned out on something, and you can always take
for
a
some
break and
reason,
come
if you
back.
don't like this setting, that's fair, and you're not gonna
Yeah,
like this game that much. But
yeah. I mean,
if you either
listen. I was gonna say, I
go
know
ahead.
you can roll back the clock and go, but Kyle and Tim and Dan, y'all all said Valhalla was too long or whatever. But like, I will be the first to say, well, I was trying to do everything,
Yeah,
So like, that's on me. I
Right.
was not like regulating the amount of raids I was doing. I was not regulating. I was not putting myself back on the mission path quick enough. Like I can internalize that,
this is
and
paced
realize
so
that.
much better than that, though. It is
I agree
structured
that
better
too.
than
I do
Valhalla.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel
But
like some
also,
of the
does
things
this
in Valhalla
game
did feel like fluff and padding and it
good?
wasn't really well thought out. Whereas this game, it was.
Does this game feel like it has a definitive ending, Tim?
Yeah.
Because Valhalla didn't.
No, that
So
was
that
my
was
problem with
also the
Valhalla.
problem.
I actually didn't. I spent
Yeah.
like 100 hours with Valhalla because I love that setting, and that time of history is even more interesting to me than the Shadow setting. Although I'm interested by both. I love the whole Vikings and what's happening
Hmm.
with King Alfred and all that stuff because I love the Last Kingdom as well. That show, so I love that setting. Right, I love all that stuff. I spent 100 hours with it, and I was very unsatisfied with how it ended. It just felt like it
Right. I
kind of,
was too.
it's just kind of like, oh, that was the last mission. Okay,
It felt like it was
like
setting up for DLC. Like it purposefully was kind of like, oh, like there's
yeah,
more. Like here's DLC, and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I mean, no, like,
I didn't like
like
that.
I don't.
This has
Yeah.
I felt very satisfied with the way it wraps up, especially when you do their two strands, couple of missions for each of them,
Mm,
couple of, more fights and emotional stakes, decisions to make, those kind of things. And then it wraps up and it's great. I thought those were fantastic.
nice.
Um, Probably another hour or
Good.
two. Once you finish that circle, maybe another hour or two, depending on how, like if you just charge in and just go and knock it out, might take you an hour to finish both. But if you take your time and map out and don't want to alert everybody, like if you're careful playing it like you normally might, then it could take you 2 hours maybe. But yeah, I absolutely adore that game. I think it's wonderful. I like it more than Valhalla for sure. I don't know where I put it up against Origins. I still think the setting of Odyssey gives it a slight edge over all of them for me. I just love the Greek setting personally.
Yeah.
But man, Shadows is so good, so good, and to me it's the best quality of gameplay, combat, storytelling is really good. I really like both main characters a lot. So
Hmm.
um, I don't know. I understand that if some people already wrote it off because they made a decision about it ahead of time, but I would encourage
Sure.
everyone to give it a chance because they do a good job of fleshing out two very interesting characters. And it's not till the very end that you get certain key parts of, especially Yasuke's backstory. But even with Naoe, you learn some backstory that's like, oh crap, interesting. I didn't know how this all happened, but now I know. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they save some of that
Yasuke
for
is
the very
also
very end.
endearing.
Yeah.
I
He's
think he's
so
incredibly
endearing.
endearing. Like, because
Yeah, I
I've done
agree.
the beginning part of like when he first starts like training and all that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude, I'm like rooting for this guy. Like, I love his demeanor and is just like
Yeah.
he's just like very not wholesome, but I don't know. There's like he's just like pure. He's got like a pureness to him. Like,
He's
Yeah.
that
yeah,
honorable guy. He's the Ned Stark,
yeah,
basically. He's like
yes,
totally honorable in the world of people who are not super
Yeah,
honorable.
right.
right. And yeah, and we do like to say that a lot of people, him and Hod, made their decisions ahead of time. Second best-selling game of the year. So how many people are actually hemming and
Just the
hawing?
loud ones on the internet who
And
weren't going
and
to play
and
it
how
anyway,
and how
probably.
many are just a handful of people just being obnoxious, So
And the user reviews, the critic reviews, they were all
yeah,
overwhelmingly positive. I'm not saying they were
yeah.
perfect, but to me, something that averages around an 8 for users and critics is I
Mm,
call that overwhelmingly positive. I remember when I said that about Starfield, like, hey, it's got its loud detractors, but it's averaging well above an 8. I think it was like an
Yeah.
85 to 87 range. Like, it's overwhelmingly. And so it's like really overwhelmingly. I'm like,
Yeah. No, I
I,
mean, like, yeah, I mean, literally, I
I
mean,
don't know
it
what to
is
tell you, man. I didn't say it was
over.
perfect. I didn't say it was perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give it a 10 out of 10 myself,
Yeah.
but whatever. Anyway, all that to say, Shadows, amazing game. Well worth the time. If you like Assassin's Creed, especially the last 3, the main ones, absolutely this is worth your time and attention. It's a really, really good game.
It's better than Rise of
And
the Ronin,
then
I'll tell you that. Boom, got him.
got him.
Fucking Mark
I do
Sick
think it's better than
burn.
Rise of the Ronin. I think it's
Me
prettier.
too.
I
I'm
like the
not being
combat
facetious
better.
at all. Yeah, I think it's way
Yeah.
better in every way.
Yeah, I think it's better. Now, I also think Ghost of Yote is probably, I'm gonna like that better than this, probably. But I could be wrong.
Maybe.
Because I just I like Ghost of Tsushima
I mean,
better
not maybe.
than
Yes,
this.
I agree. I don't know why I said maybe. I mean,
unless they do something wrong, right? Unless Sucker Punch,
Yeah.
is it Sucker Punch who makes that? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless
Sucker
they do
Punch, yeah.
something weird, Ghost of Tsushima to me still is the top tier. Shadows is like right there though, man. It's really close and it's super fun. Super fun.
I'm telling you, I said this in chat, but it's the year of cool samurai girls killing dudes in masks. That's the year of
That's
it.
right.
We're here, everybody.
At least 2 of those this year, right?
Listen, I'm not saying 2 is a lot, but I'm saying it's highly coincidental that it happened twice.
Listen,
in the
more
same
than
year. That's for sure.
more than usual.
Yeah.
It's all I've been waiting for my whole life. It's all I've
It's
been
just
waiting
me
for.
and yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're right on the hills of Blue Eye Samurai 2, which was literally pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Oh, is it
story.
season 2? When's season 2 hitting? Is that
I don't
hitting
know,
soon?
but I meant like in the
There's
first season, like it is about a girl killing high character, high character like samurai dudes, So
Yeah.
We're
There's
in,
your
guys.
triangle
We're in a
right there.
renaissance of cool chicks killing dudes in masks.
Yeah.
Right.
Die.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I really loved that game, and I genuinely enjoyed using both characters. By the way, I thought I would lean towards stealth because I do that.
I thought
in
I was
most
gonna
games,
lean one way or another
but-
too. I think that's
but
the magic sauce of the game, is that they were like, no, we are offering you 2 different experiences or options. I don't want to say experiences. We're
Well, and
offering
when you
two
start
different options.
when you start to get to the final mission of each main target, it becomes a bigger deal. Like, are you sure? Are you ready? Like, they give you an "Are you ready?" prompt, knowing it's a series
Yeah.
of like things that are all going to happen. And then you get to pick between the 2, but that's not for the entire mission. You do a chunk as one of them. I'm going to stealth through, assassinate, and climb across rooftops to get there. Or I'm going to literally run through the door and kill everyone on my way to this thing. And the other one will be up, doing their
It's
thing.
very Grand Theft Auto.
But then you get to
5 in that
swap if
way.
you want. Right in the middle of the mission, it'll say, they'll have a
Yeah.
moment, a cutscene, and it'll be like, who do you want to fight as? It asks you who
Yeah.
you want to do the boss fight as. Those kind of, and that happens throughout the whole game, all the way to the end. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. And I'm also playing. I dove back in because I don't want to just start games and not finish them this year. I've done that a lot already. There's been a lot of games that I'm like, ooh, that's pretty fun. I should play more of that, and then I don't. So I do want to finish South of Midnight for no other reason than I'm intrigued by the story. At least that's what it was at first. It's like I just want to find out what happens with Hazel and this, this lore from the Deep South. I don't understand. Like, a lot of it's new to me. I'm intrigued by it. I want to see what happens. The art style's cool. But I'm actually really enjoying the gameplay too. The platforming is getting really creative, and there's a wider variety of characters than I thought. I'm in chapter 10. I'm almost the end of chapter 10 of 14, so I'm in the last little chunk of the game, I think.
Oh, nice.
They say it's about 10, maybe 12 or more hours if you take your time or whatever.
That's not bad at all.
It's not super. Yeah, it's not a super long game. I think I'm at hour 7 or something like that. So I'm pretty close to the end. But I actually would compare, and bear with me for a sec, I would compare it to Psychonauts in a lot of ways. It's got the action platforming combo. It's got some mild upgrades, right? You can and you learn new moves as you go. And some of the things happen in the environment and you use them in combat. But there's also this really very kind of colorful and unique and crazy, eccentric cast of characters that you meet that are all somehow tied down with this kind of deep and kind of heartbreaking backstory. And Psychonauts did that too. It'd be like this crazy character who was silly, who was like weirdly shaped and kind of sounded funny, but then all of a sudden you found out like, oh, they lost this loved one in there. Like, once you get into the Psychonauts mission for that character, you're like,
this guy has
so
anxiety
sad.
or depression or
Yeah. It was like deep stuff that was like, holy crap, I have to fight against their, like you said, anxiety. I have to fight against their identity issues.
Yeah.
What the heck? Like, it was deep. And so this does a lot of the same stuff. You're unraveling tangles that this person or sometimes multiple people are dealing with, and you get to see flashbacks of their life and learning about her family, but also people she just meets for the first time. So it has a good combo of like kind of funny, tongue in cheek, but also it's not nearly as funny as Psychonauts. I'm not saying that, but yeah, similar vibes when you're
I could see
exploring.
that.
It rewards some exploration, but it also isn't such a huge open world that you're overwhelmed with collectibles. But usually there's going to be like, hey, walk behind the house, and there might be a quick little thing you can break, and there's an item there. There's like some stuff you can grab there. That's usually the case here. It's very, very simple, and I think I've been taking a lot of screenshots. This and Assassin's Creed Shadows, I've taken a lot of screenshots because I just think they're gorgeous games. Um, this one is a really, really pretty game. So I love the art style. The animation is so weird. Like you get this little friend that you can use in small little sections of the game where you need to go underground or through a small little opening to get somewhere. And you kind of summon this little friend who you control. And when you're underground, you literally can look through it and there'll be a route so you can't go there, but you can look and you can see like there's literally like a little home, like this little like there's a table and a desk and a chair and there's like a rabbit having lunch with the fox, or there's a badger sitting there like knitting. Like there's these little
Okay.
animals that are like they'll look at you like, what are you doing in here? You know what I mean? Like it's all very like
Okay.
creative and alive, but they also look like
Yeah.
the Fantastic Mr. Fox animation. They're kind of like
Oh, fun.
weirdly
Yeah.
animated, and it's very stark against the incredibly colorful and detailed backgrounds when you have these animals and characters that are animated so weirdly. I don't know, man. I love it. I think
I,
it's a really cool game.
I'm loving that style because it's like it's kind of stop motion. Is it stop motion?
Almost,
Right.
I would say
Sort
yes.
of.
It
so.
has that
Yeah.
Yeah.
vibe.
Similar to minute or whatever, midnight walk or whatever. Like I love
Oh
these
yeah,
games that are like kind of like are starting to like take inspiration from those movies, those really creative movies
yeah.
that, are super hard to make because like they're very painstakingly like, shooting every moment, like they have to
Yeah.
move the figures like, but they're doing that in a game, which is so cool, like
Yep,
which I wonder
yep.
will help with, maybe that helps with the technology of making those movies. Like I don't know if it's easier
Right.
nowadays, but
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they've got some. I mean, they certainly have like the obligatory okay climb, and there's only one ledge you can go across, and yes, you have to jump and then jump up. Like yes, it's got plenty of that platforming type stuff. It's got some fun boss fights. I've had some really epic boss encounters that they're not hard. This is not a from soft game. It's not supposed to be difficult. It's very forgiving. It is cool, by the way, when you die, the way you get lowered back into the level on this thread of fate that kind of has you wrapped up, and you're like,
mm,
it's almost like one of those Cirque du Soleil performances. You unwind and kind of like then land. It's just
Oh,
kind of a
yeah.
cool
yeah.
look that they do as a thread of fate brings you back. But I haven't died a whole lot, and I do find that the abilities they give you make most encounters manageable. So I think that's great. And then you mentioned the music, how there's unique songs for each like character and boss fight and area. You were talking about that earlier with Expedition 33, I think. You were talking about the uniqueness of the songs and how the songs
Mm,
actually have lyrics about the game and the characters and the locations, which is clear if you listen to the soundtrack at all, which is interesting. This absolutely has that, and it's almost uncomfortable, but I also realize that there's a level of lore and understanding here that I'll never get because I didn't grow up in Louisiana or the Deep South or New Orleans.
mm,
Like, there's an element to this of people just sitting on their porch, strumming the guitar, talking about what they did that day that I didn't grow up with. And so, like, these songs are so weird, but they're cool. Like, every storyline, a choir or an old man or an old woman or a kid or someone will start singing about the story that you're doing right now. Like there's this big
mm.
alligator you fight named Two-Toed Tom, and the rumor is that he was starved by his cruel owner so much that he even chewed off his own toe. That's why he's Two-Toed Tom. Like there's this whole lore about him, why he's this giant alligator now. But they're singing this whole song about like Two-Toed Tom, and they're just like singing it, and there's this guitar, and it's like
Mm.
sometimes
I
trumpet,
like that.
and it's really unique. I wouldn't say it's a soundtrack that most of the songs I would listen to on my own because some of them even sound not quite right. Some of it sounds like, why is there a minor? That does not sound right. The harmony sounded weird there, but it's
And
almost
that's
like it's
kind of like
supposed
the
to be.
tenets of like jazz and blues is that
It's
like
a
it's supposed to
very
be odd.
jazzy,
It's
exactly.
outside of the framework of like how music is written. It's riffing
Yes,
and
yes,
it
that's
is. There's a whole
exactly
But
it.
it
culture
works for like in this
on
game.
hanging out on a porch and someone blowing on a an old bottle and someone banging on a
Yeah,
drum and someone strumming a guitar and everyone just kind of like again like
they're kind of guessing the melody as they
free
go, just
riffing
feeling
like
it.
lyrics,
Hmm.
like it's all
Hmm.
it's all there.
Yep. Yep. So that's exactly what this feels like, and they did a really good job of capturing that spirit. To me, it makes it fascinating. Like if it was just a standard soundtrack, it'd probably be fine. But I really like that they leaned into making this so like it's very memorable. So I find it to be intriguing and very, very good. So, and there are a couple songs that I'd be like, dude, that's really good. That's a great song. It's gonna stick with me. And there's other songs that I'm like, boy, that one got annoying because it was so repetitive, but it was very unique. I'll give you that. It's very unique. So anyway, I'm really loving South of Midnight. I think it's an easy game to overlook in this very, very busy spring season. But I would encourage folks who have Game Pass to give it a look, especially if you liked stuff like Psychonauts, and you want a kind of a unique story. Give this one a go. So, and that is it. That's all I've been playing. That's the one I shifted to after I finished Shadows. So I want to check both of those off, and then it's all about JRPG after that. So that's what I'm going to. And of course, guys, this week Doom arrives. Very excited for that. So
Happy
next
Doom's
week,
Eve, everybody.
That's right. We'll be talking about Doom. Maybe do a game about Doom as well. It's quite the franchise. It's been a mainstay for my whole life of playing games. Doom has always had a game in some way, shape, or form. So
I don't know if we really need to talk about Doom. I mean, if we do, then Gaston's just gonna be like, "Oh, Doom, 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 Doom." And maybe we just skip over. Maybe we just skip over it.
Doom ended up getting trounced in the reviews by Expedition 33, so nothing made me happier than him being wrong about that. I'll tell you that.
I mean, it still has good. Wasn't it like an 86 or something?
His campaign of hate is coming to an end. It's no 92.
Didn't Dark Ages get like 86 or something average? Like it's still really good.
Not a 92 though. I'll tell you
not
that.
Not a 92. Not a 92. That is very true. But yeah, Doom Dark Ages will be out this week. Next week, actually, we're not going to say any other words. We're just going to be like Doom, 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 Doom.
Yeah,
Doom,
Doom,
yeah.
Doom. Dark Ages, dude. Dark Ages.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna. Dark Ages, dude.
Metal music, man. Metal music.
Metal music, dude.
Metal music, brother.
Metal music. Metal music.
Well, thank you guys for watching and listening. We'll see you on the next one.